his ankles. Now he's got an entourage, and he's got a touchdown.
The impossible dream of a play. Madden is on the field. He wants to know if it's real. They said yes. Get your big butt out of here.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game.
There, he's got it. End zone. Touchdown, Titans. There are no flags on the field. It's a miracle.
Yes, right, people. It is a miracle, man. We made it to another Sunday. So you know what time it is, man. It is time for the Football Frame of Mind weekly show and podcast for our audio listeners, man. So before we get started, man, how you doing?
It's good, man. Last episode of college football, so all you avid NFL fans, got to start doing that next week, as well as got some really cool stuff in the works over the next few weeks. Might have a few special people on. Might not be for the actual live show on Sunday, but some really cool stuff going on behind the scenes. So just stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep. Most definitely, man. So let me do this real quick. Make sure I do that. No cheating, people. Anyway, but yeah, yep. We are definitely excited about this whole thing. We getting the subscriber count is growing every day. It's almost like 50 a day, so we excited about that. So if y'all interested, man, just keep on liking, keep on subscribing, man, and let's get it in, man. So no further ado, man. Let's get into it, man. So y'all know the drill. The water's fine over here. Keep on subscribing, man, to the channel. We really appreciate it. You know, we like the views, man. We like all of that. But if you're into everything, you talking streaming, we talking live shows, we talking shorts, all of that. If you into that kind of stuff, man, check it out. I'm serious. Anyway, but we love the number dropping, man. We love to get it down to like 79. That's a really good number, right? So let's keep working. We'll try again next week, man. But to those who are subscribed, thank you. So, but let's keep going. So we're gonna start things off with the NFL because we're doing our preseason breakdown. So Brandon had a nice topic for us this week, man. So you tell the people about it.
So I'll be honest with you. I liked Anthony Richardson at Florida. We've kind of we knew who's going to be a project player if you guys haven't been paying attention. And there's a lot of work in, especially with his completion percentage and things like that in the offseason, like battling injury. They bring in weapons for him through the draft. They brought in a quarterback for quarterback competition, being Danny Dimes. And in a season where you would think Anthony Richardson would be like really locked in, like really like, and I'm not saying he's not because we don't see everything, but when I see like my franchise quarterback out making rap videos, like when I feel like your job is like on its like tipping point, like where you could possibly lose it at some point, like I don't want to see this. I understand you want to have fun, but dude, like they drafted you very high on potential. And, you know, we haven't necessarily seen that transition yet. Really, I think the organization, a lot of people just want to see you working more. And then some of the lyrics saying, throwing it like Drew Brees, I thought that was kind of funny. I mean, aspirations are one thing, but that completion percentage says otherwise. And it is looking like, obviously it ain't set in stone yet. We haven't even gotten to training camp or the preseason, but Daniel Jones is actually looking okay for them throughout the offseason so far. So I think Anthony Richardson's got an uphill battle ahead of himself. I mean, I want to see him do good. But this is a make or break year for him. It's a make or break year for Sean Steichen as the coach, because if they come out flat and they start losing games, Steichen might not be there the entire season. And if Richardson isn't showing any promise in his passing ability and being able to put the ball in his receivers' hands, his job's going to be on the line too. So I thought this was really funny. It was very random. I just woke up in the middle of the week and I seen this, listened to it, and I thought you would get a kick out of it. I don't know if you actually watched the video or not, but it was really random, to say the least.
No, I checked it out. It was it's like, dude, he ain't locked in, man, at all, man. And with new ownership now that Irsay's gone, it's gonna be a lot of eyes on him, man. And as much as you wanna root for the guy, injuries and lack of performance, man, have really hurt him. And coming into this offseason, he had to show out, man. You had to. Danny Dimes already did. He got his team to the playoffs before, you know, and he had over 40% completion percentage. So how about that, right? You know, so there's a lot, man. And then he's already out with like a shoulder injury. So he's missing time, you know, like let's work on the little things instead of like rap, man. Like, cause these NFL players, bro, they can't rap.
He could have Kadarius Toney on as a feature. He raps now.
Need to stop, man. Need to stop, man. I heard that last Madden soundtrack, and there's a couple motherfuckers on there. They need to hang it up.
Madden hasn't had a good soundtrack since like Madden 09, Madden 10.
Man, look, they had a couple players on there. They need to hang it up. This ain't the career. You're already making millions. So you don't need to be trying to rap, man. It's not for y'all, man. Can't. Some of y'all trying to rap and got CTE, bro. It ain't sounding that good. You know what I'm saying? So y'all got to cut it out. So that's all I'm saying. But as far as the QB battle, man, and see that Smooth says he laughed real hard. Dude, man, like I said, man, that's why I ain't watch it, because there ain't nobody. The only sports rappers that I like are Shaq and Dame Dollar. That's Damian Lillard for y'all people.
Hey, he spits bars, bro.
Yeah, Dame Lillard, nice, man. And Shaq was cold as well. Shaq's still cold, to be honest with you. If he hopped on a song right now, it'd go platinum. So let's just say that, man. So, but nonetheless, the QB battle is interesting, but I think Anthony Richardson might win when we start getting into game action, though. Just because I think his ability to run is something that's like a gift and a curse almost. You know, yeah, like he's got all the potentials to be one of the best quarterback in the league, right? But I think he might win it when we start playing games, though, because like it's easy to look good when you're at practice and you're on air. I don't even think they start hitting yet. You know,
no, we're not even in like OTAs or anything yet.
Yeah, so we haven't even gone live, right? So all these reports is like, oh, Danny Dimes is in front of him. I'm like, we ain't necessarily did that.
It's just my thing with him is my thing
DJ,
with him is like I think he'd be the starter week one because you're still banking on the potential. And obviously you still banking and you spend a high draft pick on him. But I will tell you, and I don't know if you'll agree, I feel like you will. With the addition of some of the weapons he's had, not to mention you still have Jonathan Taylor, like if you get like 5 games in and he's still playing like what he was last year, they're gonna bench him. They didn't bring Daniel Jones in just to just ride in the pond and just watch Anthony Richardson lose them games. Like the Colts aren't a terrible organization. They're not willingly trying to tank if they don't have to, unless it's freaking suck for luck. But that's a whole different song and dance. But
yeah,
I feel like he's gonna be better. I think he's got a lot to prove. I hope he does better. But if he plays anything remotely close to he did last year through like the first quarter of the season, then yeah, I think they might be letting Jones get some reps for sure.
nah, man, like that's what I was thinking too. Like I think there's a path for Daniel Jones, obviously to start, man, but I think they're gonna give Anthony Richardson every chance to win this job, man. Every chance because you spent the 5th overall pick on him, or maybe even higher than that.
I think it was
So,
4th or 5th, yeah.
what's up, love? I know I only get 1 second out of your viewership because you don't know what we're talking about, but that's okay. The support is all that matters. So, nonetheless, man, like I said, 4th, 5th, is still high as hell. Right? We could have picked somebody else if we knew he was gonna be this bad. But like I said, man, the Atlanta Falcons didn't know what they had in Michael Vick, and it took about 3 years for him to take off a little bit. And who else, man? You got Lamar Jackson on the other hand. You didn't know what you had in him, and it took about 3 years for him to
Look at
really.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts, man. It took him like 3 years to actually keep the starting job, because they were trying to replace him, right? But now he's a Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP. So this is, like I said, a make or break year.
And this is year 3, yeah. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is year
year 3. So, and both years have been injury ridden. So it's not
3.
like he's actually
He had a lot of
played.
game film.
Yeah, you ain't never played to really get into the mindset of that, oh, I need to get better at this. You ain't played enough to know
And
what you need to get better at.
And I need to see that he's got that drive because I mean, and I'm not holding on to it. But you remember that whole thing about I was tired, so you want to go back into the game or something like that. I'm hoping that was just like a one-time occurrence and that wasn't like a recurring thing. Because you in the wrong sport, brother. If that's how we feeling, and like I said, I'm not holding that against him, but it's just things I look at.
I am. I'm holding it against you, man. Look, it's hard. It's hard not only to be a quarterback in the
Be
league,
in the league,
but it's hard to be a black quarterback in the league. And they want every reason for you not to play, right? Because you didn't come in as a Russell Wilson, like a guy that already has an extensive knowledge of not only the playbook but how to play the quarterback position without using your athleticism all the time.
Come in on thin ice.
Yeah, so you already came in on a I guess you say with a short leash anyway, right? So now the fact that you're not all the way locked in, you've been hurt a lot, like this doesn't look good, man. And once you lose the locker room, you lost your job. Just know that. So there you go, man. And then see that smooth.
It's true, but that's any organization. Like when there's a lot of capital that gets put into you, and you're actually the most important position on the team. Like they need to see some return. I mean, a first round pick is already crazy, but like a top 5 pick, like there has to be some kind of return in your performance. Like how Ken was saying, there has to be,
man. And it's not like our league when we were growing up, where they used to sit you.
Look at Aaron Rodgers. Sat behind Favre for like 5 years.
Yeah, like Drew Brees had to sit a little bit, right? And then he had that crazy quarterback battle with Phillip Rivers, which he won, by the way. And then he tore his shoulder up. Then it's like, okay, whatever. We got Phillip Rivers, right? But nonetheless, like, it's not like that anymore. It's not like that for the coaches. It's not like that for the players, especially quarterback.
The whole
Like,
culture is different.
Yeah, like if you're not, the coaches are on the hot seat too, by the way. As soon as they get hired, they got to show some promise. You might get 1, maybe 2 years, depending on how bad those years were. But if you finish with double-digit losses, you're like on the hot seat going into next year.
Immediately.
Yeah, immediately. So then, a quarterback in his situation, you're sitting there like, oh, well, you're not that good. So when they fire the coach and they fire the GM, the new GM is going to be like, I don't want these problems. I didn't draft them. I'm going to draft my own quarterback and fail my way if I'm going to fail. But I'm also going to try to win my way. And I'm not dealing with this. And that's usually how it goes, man. So and that's not a race thing either. It goes for the white quarterbacks too, man. If you're not winning, they will get rid of you quick. Because
it's not like it used to be. There's a lot more patience, but there's so much more money involved, and the culture is completely different. Like there's no, it's how they always refer to like maybe our generation or one after microwave generation. The NFL is like that now. Like rebuilds or coaching staff, general manager, like you expect to make results or at least show promise of making those results in the foreseeable future. And if you're not and you're struggling, organizations won't hesitate. It's the same thing with college. They'll be willing to buy you out, fire you, whatever, to get themselves back on track.
Exactly, man. So, like I said, we went over the ACC last week. So, I mean, we already talked about the hot seat, right? Now, I try to refrain from that because we already know who's on the hot seat, right? But I say you have to improve. And that goes for the NFL too, man. You can't just be out here losing games, man. It's too much money going into these teams.
And the Colts are one of those teams.
Yeah, the Colts are one of them teams, man, that have they have changed a lot over the last few months, right? You lose your owner, so the daughters take over, right? And they seem like they not playing around either. Like, yo, we trying to get back to where we were. Maybe dad was out of touch at the end. But I guarantee those daughters had a say-so in what was going on because, he getting older and he prepared them for it. So the only way to prepare them to make decisions like, hey, we're going to start Daniel Jones is to look at the situation that you got, to be hands-on with it, right? At least a little bit. So, like I said, we'll see how this transpires over training camp, but y'all get in that comment box and let us know, around this segment, right? How y'all feel about Anthony Richardson, how you feel about Daniel Jones, the whole quarterback battle, because this is one of the spiciest ones of the offseason, man. Believe it or not, it is, so, but nonetheless, let's get into what we've been waiting on, man. Let's get into it. We're going to get into this college football stuff, man. I don't know if you added the video. Did you add the video, Brendan?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, cool.
Did you have anything before the actual conference stuff, or is just straight into that?
It's straight into it.
Okay. Just gonna introduce us into our Big 12 breakdown for all of our audio listeners. I'm sorry, you'll be able to hear the music. You'll be able to hear they have obviously the cool commentating, but you won't be able to see the actual footage. But let's not hesitate. Let's get it started.
Yep.
Loads up, heaving one deep, and it is caught. Jalen Strong. Do you believe it? Arizona State wins on a Hail Mary. Boykin throwing too tall. It was pulled in. Green caught it. Do you believe it? Aaron Green off for the deflection. Touchdown, Taysom Greer. Lobs it in the air. Oh, what a catch, Gary Jennings. Touchdown, West Virginia. They're coming after it. McClain
really?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. The Big 12, one of the best conferences of our childhood, man. One of the most exciting, anyway. Um, Fun games, fun history, all the way back, man. So, uh, like I said, we're gonna break it down. So we always start off looking at the championship game. Those are the two teams that represented their conference in the championship game. I think Arizona State won big. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was nasty. It was
They won.
ugly,
Yeah, they
ugly.
blew them out and they made the playoffs.
Yeah, ugly game for those for, for those Cyclones. Probably,
That's in year one too.
yeah,
They
you
won
know.
the
So
conference year one.
yeah, and the Cyclones, I don't think they made it too many times. So that was like either the first or second time.
One of the couple, yeah. I mean, they were good. They were a good team, but they were so up and down, man. You wanted to think they were like a top 10 team, and then they would lose, or they would squeak by, or this or that. So
All right, no, I feel that. Yeah, but the Sun Devils did win the conference. So but let's get in. Let's break it down. We break down the whole thing. So we getting into the players, we getting into the coaches, and then we get into the teams, right? So these are some returning starters that I really think are going to have good seasons, or their seasons are going to be bad, right? So obviously, Sam Levitt is returning as one of the best quarterbacks in the country, but most certainly probably the best quarterback in this particular conference, right? I think that's not far from the truth. So they go as far as he goes, man. But they bring back Jordan Tyson, who's he had some injuries last year. But this is a big weapon for Arizona State because they lose one of the best running backs, right? Now, don't get it twisted. They got another running back that's quite good. But nonetheless, Jordan Tyson opens it up for the whole offense, right? Big body receiver with a chance to, improve his draft stock because I'm pretty sure that's what he wants to do, right? For our audio listeners, we got Jordan Seaton, who I think is going to be vastly important for Colorado as they go from star power to more of a team element, right? We knew they had Shador Sanders. You knew they had Travis Hunter, right? So you knew you got some star power and you can depend on those guys. And I feel like a lot of the games that they lost, the team was ball watching, man. Ooh, what Travis gonna do? Or what is Shador gonna do? Is he gonna bail us out, right? And I think Jordan Seaton is a breath of fresh air for them to get back to running the football. Some power runs, right? Yeah, they pass the ball really good, but it's easy to do that when you got Travis Hunter and you got Shador Sanders, who've been teammates since they've been in college. That connection is there, right? But now it's good that an offensive lineman is the vocal point of a team, right? And he's been very vocal this offseason. Hey, we going back to running the football. And if I'm a teammate and I'm a fan of Colorado, I actually love that idea, right? Then we got Rocco Beck from not Arizona State, but Iowa State. Um, he returns after making the Big 12 championship, right? So it'd be interesting to see what happens, right? Is he gonna be Brock Purdy or is he gonna be somebody else, right? Brock Purdy played really good there, right? Really good. Got him drafted. So if he's gonna have that success, he's gotta play. He's gotta play. Now we both have our take on Matt Campbell's coaching situation, right? We thought he should have left 3 years ago when they were really hot, but he's still there, and they made the Big 12 championship. So it's not it's not like it's not working. It's just like maybe that's as far as you can take them.
Mm-hmm.
But we finish out the returning stars that I thought were really good, man. Spencer Fano, um, probably one of the best tackles in the country, man. Like he's up there on a list of top 5. He might be top 3, right? And he's a young fella too. I think he's only a sophomore, so he's got a lot to work on. But Utah's gonna be looking different anyway because Cam Rising's not there. So you're gonna need to be more physical. That's what won them the Pac-12 all those times, being physical, running the football, right? Yeah, they had great players come along like Alex Smith back in the day, but still physical play is what Utah is. They was always different. Like they never were the happy pass friendly team, you know? Like they're like the Arkansas of the West Coast. When they win, they run the ball, you know. So I'm really excited to see him. But out of all these guys, Brandon, who you think is did I miss anybody first? And then second of all, who do you think is actually gonna be better than they were last year?
Offensively, I don't think you missed anybody. I'm a real big Sam Levitt guy. I think them not having Scatterbo, I think they'll still have a really good run game, but I think you're going to see him elevate his game even higher. Because, I mean, expectations are now, hey, bro, we won the freaking conference in year one. Why don't we run this back and make another freaking playoff bid? I think this guy has he can be projected to be a top 10 pick, if not top 5, depending on, like, how far he can take them. I love his arm talent. He seems like the pressure doesn't mess with him at all. They went down to the wire with Texas and damn near knocked Texas out of the playoffs. And I didn't see him falter like at all. I think he's got ice in his veins. I like his play style. And I think they got a real chip on their shoulder to make it back what they did last year. I'm going to go with Sam Levitt here.
Okay, no. I was gonna go there too, but I do think Jordan Seaton's probably gonna be an All American this year. If I was a betting person, I would put money on that because I think whatever success they have is going to be looked at as him. You know, so I'm anxious to see what he does, man. So let's get into some defensive dudes, man. Some defensive guys. Um, that I was really interested to see, man. So, John Walker was really good a couple years ago, but he had some injury issues. So, the fact that UCF, as we'll get into their new situation, it's a good start to have a familiar face on your defense, right? BYU, right? Another hard nosed blue collar type program. Jack Kelly's one of the best linebackers in the conference, right? But the best linebacker in the conference is Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech, right? Texas Tech is in a really good window right now, right? They've won like 8 games the last, I want to say 2 or 3 seasons. So the only way to go is up from here, right? They got a good opportunity. They put some good players on the field, right? And the conference is changing a little bit. It's not all like wide open power, like 5 wide like it used to be. There's a lot of good offenses being ran there. So it'd be interesting to see how good he is. He's on my short list of uh Bednarik Award winners, which goes to the best defensive player. I think for them to have some success, he's got to make some plays in the pass rushing department, right? I get it. Everybody's wide open, so space is everything. But if he can get him a couple sacks, like maybe 8, right? I think that'll help them a lot, out of that thing. But Austin Romaine is another gonna be another key player for Kansas State. They play their game. Sometimes Kansas State surprise you and they win 10 games. Sometimes they win like 6, but they steal a couple, right? They used to steal from Texas and Oklahoma when they were in the Big 12 all the time. You couldn't go to Manhattan, Kansas and be like, oh well, we're gonna get a win. Nah, it don't work like that. That's one of them things. Now you go to Lawrence and still wins all the time, right? Because that's just Kansas Jayhawks, right? But nonetheless, you don't do Kansas State like that. They will beat you, right? And Miles Rosner or Roser is going to be interesting. He's one of those guys you should look out for on Arizona State because I think the offensive guys are going to get the bulk of the love, right? But this guy, is going to be nice. All right. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he does on their defense, man. Had a real good playoff run. So now that everybody's like, oh, who is this guy? Let's check him out. Right. So they're going to need as much help as they can get. Right. So Keaton Thomas, man, is the last guy from Baylor. We'll get into Baylor because I think we were so wrong on Baylor last season, and they went off, man. And Keaton Thomas is one of those guys. You have a familiar face who is the head coach, as we'll get into a little later. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that. But first and foremost, what do you think? Did I miss anybody like that's like super, super good? Or who you got and who you think is gonna be a lot better?
I'm a big Jacob Rodriguez guy, dude. Texas Tech was one of the highest NIL spenders this offseason, around $21 million. They are surrounding him and the rest of this team with really good talent. It's crazy because I didn't think Texas Tech, I mean, obviously Texas got money, but I didn't think Texas Tech was spending NIL money like that. And I think what that's going to do is really help him to flourish because they won't be able to just key in solely on him. Obviously, he's a huge impact player. But now with all this other star power on the field, like now you have to account for these other guys. And I think it's really going to open things up for him to take that next jump and really wreak havoc on some of these Big 12 offenses, giving their offense, because they already can score points, giving Texas Tech a legit shot to make a run to maybe making a Big 12 championship. I love his upside. I think he's really good. He's always around the ball. He's always making plays. And I think this year, with all that money they spent on other players, I think that's really going to benefit him and the team as well.
All right, no. I think, man, I'm excited to see what Keaton Thomas does, man. He's a journeyman guy. Started at D1 and then went to I think JUCO or something. Balled out there and then got an opportunity to go to Baylor. So I'm really interested to see what he can do, man. I love guys that take the unfamiliar road to playing in Division 1 again. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see that, man. So, but let's get into the next thing, man. You know, we got to do the transfers, man. So, speaking of Utah, right? So, Utah is, like I said, going to be in a different spot, you know, with Cam Rising, unfortunately, retiring from football, period, because of some injuries, right? Welcome to the Divine Dampier era, man. He did a lot at New Mexico, man. Well, not a lot, but his numbers were solid. Like if you were like, all right, let's just get this dude and see what we got, you would be pretty good. You'd be pretty interested in what he can do, you know. So I find it interesting because he's a different type of skill set, right? But he also allows you to have a more of an impact in the running game too, you know. So I'm interested to see what he can do. Small sample size at New Mexico nonetheless, but definitely happy to see that, man. And another guy I'm interested is Bryce Pollock, man. Bryce Pollock, interesting transfer. Um, I want to see how they use him, man. You know, you mentioned that Texas Tech spent a lot of money this offseason. So this is a part of it. So I'm really interested to see how he fits in that defense because they're gonna need it. If they're gonna try to steal this division away from the likes of Colorado, Arizona State, you're gonna need one of these guys to make some big plays for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, nonetheless, man, any of these, have you heard of any of these dudes at all?
I knew about Pollock already, and I like the fit with him coming from the SEC. You're coming from a high, fast-paced, like physical conference, and you get to come to Texas Tech playing in the Big 12. I think all it's going to do is benefit them. Like I said before, they've really done a really good job at filling out the roster with NIL and the transfer portal, getting good players to surround Rodriguez and even guys on offense to really make them more well-rounded, to improve their depth. And getting a guy like this playing in the SEC is only going to benefit you for sure.
Of course, man. So let's get into these impact freshmen, man. Let's get into that, man. So a couple guys on this list, man. So I'm expecting I'm gonna butcher his name, but I'm expecting Travis I want to say Buhaki. We'll say that. Maybe if I'm butchering, I'm sorry, Travis. But I expect him to be an impact player for the Cougars, man. They're a team that needs some life. They've fallen on hard times after I forgot who was there, man. Gosh, what was the dude name? He coached at Texas for a little bit until Sark got there.
Oh, you're talking about not Tom Herman, huh?
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yep. So they've fallen on hard times since Tom Herman left. They tried Major Applewhite, that didn't really work. So and they tried Dana Holgerson too, that didn't work at all. So surprisingly, it didn't work. Quite frankly, I was actually a big Dana Holgerson fan after his West Virginia run, and I'm thinking, oh, he's gonna bring this wide open offense, man, to Houston again. Look out, right? But it didn't work out like that. So they got a new guy in there that we're gonna talk about, man. But expect Travis, one of their highest freshman recruits, to get some playing time. They're gonna need it, right? And if I'm not mistaken, this is probably Kansas State's highest recruit ever.
5 stars, 6'5",
5 stars.
223.
Yeah, man. So
Solid.
Lincoln Cure is gonna see the field. I mean, you don't be a
Immediately.
5 star.
I'm playing him immediately.
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't see why you wait. He's a 5 star guy. I want to say tight end. I meant to put
Yep.
that in there.
Yeah, and
So
he's got great size too. He could probably put another 5-10 pounds on and be perfect, to be honest with you.
yeah, yeah. So I think he's gonna play a lot, and if Kansas State's gonna be any good, they're gonna need him to ball out, man. So expect him to, if he's not a career Wildcat, expect him to be a big pickup later on in his career by some big team somewhere. Because you gotta get that thing on, man. And when you're a 5 star tight end, which doesn't happen very often, because I think in our history, of watching the game, 5 star tight ends don't always work out too well. Georgia had one, had a couple actually. I know Bama had a few. We had Hale Hinches, who really didn't play that much, and then we had oh gosh, man, OJ Howard. He was a 5 star, really good, right? When you let him run down the field, but he wasn't like the best, right? Until later. So 5 star tight ends don't really work out that well. So we really want to see him play real good. But the only way you get in there is if you start early. So there you go, man. So we got a comment here, man. What's good, little brother? What's good? Y'all seen him last week on the ACC breakdown, man. So appreciate him, man. We're gonna if we ain't got no guests coming on, man, he's into the NFL. So I really want to get his thoughts on his Rams, man. You see, I said his Rams, not mine. But y'all tune in a couple weeks, man. We're gonna do that NFL stuff, man. Y'all gonna love that. But nonetheless, man, these are impact freshmen. Expect them to be some household names, man. But let's get into the fun part, man. All right, the top coaches, right? So my thought process on it, right? You're probably looking at this like, yo, why would you put him on there, right? But I wanted to tell you my thought process, right? So easily I could just say the top guys, right? Kenny Dillingham would be like the top guy, period, right? But all of these guys have top guy qualities, all right? So when you think about Matt Campbell, right? He's literally been Mr. Cyclone for the last few years, right? He always has his team ready to play, and bowl eligibility is like the bottom thing. Like that's the last resort because his teams are always good, right? Then I go to Deion Sanders, and his top quality to me is mastering the transfer portal. Not just getting guys, but guys that'll really impact your season right now. You know, so I like that quality. I think the overall best coach in this whole conference is Kenny Dillingham, right? Taking a program that was, I would say, in some trouble after the Herman Edwards era, right? They were doing things probably they shouldn't have been doing, but the cupboard wasn't bare. They had some really good players there, right? But it takes a guy to understand all the players that you have. And he's done that. He's done that through the transfer portal. He's been recruiting very well on the West Coast, right? So, I mean, then you getting in the transfer portal too, getting Scatterbo, right? You just find him, right? Lunch pail guy that helps your team, right? And then we get into the old guns, man. Both of these coaches have at least 20 years at their respective schools, right? So for me to just dismiss them as like, oh, they just run of the mill coaches. I can't do that. Kyle Whittingham has been at Utah for a very long time. He's won conference titles, albeit in the Pac 12. I want to say Mountain West too. Was he there? I think he was there in the Mountain West era too. Because
Yeah,
20
he's been
years
there for a
ago,
long time. It's
yeah,
been
20
plus
years. I think they was in the Mountain West.
How long has he been over there?
Yeah, because he's been there 20 years. So I want to say he was there in the Mountain West era, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 20 years since 2005. Wait, hey, hold up. Including his time as an assistant coach, he's been with Utah for 32 years. So he was there an additional 7 years before? No, 20. Yeah, whatever the
12.
case would be. Yeah, an
Yeah,
extra 12 years. So before he
yeah,
was even a coach at the university. So that's a lot of time.
yeah. That's a lot of time, right? And the fact that you're still there lets me know that you not only have the school behind you to fix the issue, right? But you also understand, like you've been able to adapt, in my opinion. I
Yeah.
think you've been able to adapt to the changes of college football because we've seen a lot of change in the last 20 years in this sport,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think both of these guys have earned the right. Now, let me get into Mike Gundy, man. So Mike Gundy took over for I want to say Les Miles, right? That
Yeah,
was the
before
last
when he left to go to LSU, yeah.
right. So he's been awesome for the Cowboys. The Cowboys have been a couple games from the national title. That's how good they've been. So when I talk about these guys being in the top coaches of the conference, I think they've earned the right to fix their program. I think they earned it. I mean, Mike Gundy, that was the worst season he had
Since the beginning.
since the beginning, right? So I think he's earned the right. I think last year, as the season went on, you knew they weren't going to be a good team, right? I think this year he earned the right to just say, all right, let me fix it. And then if this year is bad, then maybe I've lost my fastball, both of them. But as far as coming in, I think last season you would have put Whittingham and Gundy at the top of the list. I think you would have because the conference is wide open. Texas and OU just left. So, like the beginning of next season, last season, I think that you would have those guys at the top, right? So that's why I couldn't disrespect them and all the time that they put in by just putting them in good standing because they've been at the top of this conference for a long time, right? Mike Gundy more so than Whittingham because if Texas and OU weren't in this conference, Oklahoma State would probably have a couple of national title appearances because they've had really good teams, but they've lost to Texas and OU, one or the other. They beat one, they lose one. They beat one, they lose one. That's how it always has been in my lifetime. They've had hella good players and hella good coaches come through there, man. So did I miss anybody? Did I hit on anything?
So for me, you could probably say the same thing about Utah. Had Utah been in this conference for a lot longer, them other two teams left. I think Utah is definitely in that conversation because they haven't necessarily fell off. I mean, yeah, last year sucked a little bit, but they weren't a bad team. It just really hurt them that their freaking All-American type quarterback just went down. I mean, he was the key piece to them making that jump. We've seen what he was like. Obviously, he's gone now. I think Mike Gundy's definitely going to get things together. I would think so. But the conference didn't get any better. Like, when I say better, I mean not any easier. It got harder. These teams are adapting, they're adjusting. The teams that have come over, they've come over, hit the tires, running. Like, Arizona State's a powerhouse in this conference now. Like, they asserted themselves in year one to say, you know what? Nope, we're here. We win it year one. We expect to be here every year. They're going to be that team. Iowa State's always scrappy. They're always in games. They're always competitive. And Colorado looks to build off of what they built the last few years. Obviously, like you said, the lack of star power now, I think they're going to adjust. So, I mean, I don't argue with any of these, to be honest with you.
All right. That's good. I mean, I did my homework right. Means I did my homework right, man. So, let's get into the coaches in good standing, man. It's it's not that many. It's not as many as it was before, right? But if you're watching on YouTube, we appreciate it. Thank you. Hit that like button. Keep enjoying the process, right? But the coaches in good standing, man, are Kalani Sataki from BYU. This is for our audio listeners. We got Joey McGuire, Texas Tech, Lance Leopold, Kansas. We got Chris Kleiman, that's Kansas State. We got Sonny Dykes, that's TCU, and of course our old buddy from the SEC, Dave Aranda at Baylor. Right. So Kalani Sataki had a chance to be in the top coaches because since they've been in the Big 12, they've won a lot of ball games, right? They beat a couple good teams along the way. But I think he's safe. He's been at BYU for a long time. I think he played at BYU as well, so that's even more time added to the total score. So I think he's good there, man. I don't think he's in any danger of being fired as long as they continue the course. Now, I don't think that they're going to be a major player this season in terms of like being in the Big 12 title picture. But this is going to be an ugly conference, man. Somebody's winning this thing with probably 2, maybe 3 losses because that's how tough this conference is, man. And one of those teams that's probably going to be in the hunt for the Big 12 title and might lose their way out of it because of how good it is. It's Texas Tech, man. Like I said, we mentioned all the guys that they got on defense, man, and they got some good guys on offense as well. And they won 8, 9 games the last 3 seasons, and they're poised for a good push, right? But this will be the year, right? Because once Dion gets that 5-star quarterback under his management a little bit, it's gonna be tough for people to beat them because they can snatch anybody from anywhere. So I think if you're Joey McGuire from Texas Tech, you got to get it this year because it's gonna be hard to get it later, right? And then we go to Lance Leopold, man. So let's be honest. I think you and me both know that Kansas is a basketball school, right? When it comes to collegiate sports, right? They've had a good run at one point, right? But it's been a bottom feeding type of thing, man. At Kansas, it's tough to win there. It's tough to get players to go there. Like it's tough, man. And the fact that Lance Leopold has won, I want to say he went to a bowl game about 3 years in a row. So this is a good start for Kansas, considering where they came from. Double-digit losses, winless seasons in there. That's a good spot, in my opinion, man. Then we go to their chief rival, man, Chris Kleeman in Kansas State. They've had a really good run as well. You know, they had the national championship most outstanding player last year on their team. Well, 2 years ago, and we didn't think I didn't think much of him coming from Kansas State. I was like, well, I mean, I thought Kyle McCord was better at Ohio State, But nonetheless, they pick him up, and Kansas State just doesn't miss a beat. You know, they're okay. They're okay. Not the best season, but enough to be good. I think everybody that's been at Kansas State is judged by Coach Snyder, right? As long as you don't fuck it up and make it unbearable like Colorado was before Dion took over, I think you're safe, right? As long as you do that, because Coach Snyder had it popping in Kansas State. You know, they beat Texas a couple times. I mean, they beat up on Oklahoma a couple times when they were in the conference. So it's like, yeah, yeah, you gotta keep that standard going if you're a guy, right? So then we go to Sonny Dykes from TCU, man. So this is a tough one for me because if we were talking about the year before last, I think you would say he was a top guy. He got them to the national title. Miracle run, by the way. I think everybody was just like, man, are they really one of the best four teams? Hey, that's neither here or there. But I think they were undefeated or something like that. No, they lost one game in the
They
championship.
lost the conference championship game.
Yeah, so it's like, well, you can't punish them for that. But I was like, yo, they had some close wins, man.
All their wins were like at the last minute within a possession.
Yeah, so I'm like, you can't roll into playing Georgia. Now somehow, some way, they beat Michigan. And I was like,
And
yo,
like, damn, now you can't go now. You can't vote against it. Had they lost, you're like, okay, well, now I know you're not for real. But like,
yeah, but they beat Michigan and got to play Georgia.
and guess
And
what happened? They beat them at the very end in the same fashion that
man, but
it
then
was
they
a
go
trend.
against Georgia and they only got one touchdown.
I'm
Now I
glad I
saw
didn't
that
physically sit there
touchdown.
and watch that. I'm glad I
I
didn't have
saw
to.
that. I saw that one touchdown, and it was like 17-7 after that. And I was like, okay, all right,
Manageable.
well, if you can stop Georgia, then maybe you can make it a game. That shit was over before halftime. So Sonny Dykes, to me, I think is still a top guy. But at this current moment, he's just in good standing because they've been okay. They haven't been terrible after that national title run. But still good standing, man. And then I'll save this last one for you. So Dave, yeah, bro. Yeah, see that smooth. It's levels to this shit. It is. And they found out. They found out. But I'll leave this last one to you, man. Dave Miranda, obviously I think we wrote Baylor off last season heavily, and they decided to win. You know, they decided to say, "Well, we ain't losing all these games," and they won and got bowl eligible, man. So, what did you think about Dave Aranda during his time at LSU, and then taking this job? What did you think?
One of the better D coordinators we've ever had, to be completely honest with you. Being able to at least, I mean, obviously you're gonna look at the 2019 team and be like, oh, well, they weren't that good. But I mean, big picture, he was a really good defensive coordinator. Baylor, he's underperformed a lot, and Baylor's not the easiest place to get a whole lot of wins either. Now, maybe like when we were like in high school, Baylor was kind of a hotbed because obviously RG3 and a lot of other guys, but that was, I forget what's it called, the coach there at the time, I forget his name. He had been there
Um,
forever.
um,
You know who I'm talking about.
Briles, Art
Yeah,
Briles.
yeah. That was a
Yeah.
much different time. Now it's a bit harder to win there. Obviously we seen Matt Rule do okay there. Aranda comes in, and over the first couple of years they struggle. I was impressed to see them at least get their season together last year, because had they been on that trend, he wouldn't be on this board right now. So I will give them that, even though they kind of got dog walked at the end by LSU in that bowl game. Being able to become bowl eligible is at least a good thing, especially with how they started. My thing with him is I just don't know if I'm fully convinced that they're going to be able to replicate like how they were playing at the end of that season. Like, I think the key to Aranda's success is them getting off to a good start. I think you have to come out hot. I think he's a good coach. I think it's kind of an uphill battle for Baylor. They really have to come out the right way. I would hate for them to start out slow again and then have to battle back, because when you start the season like that, like it's harder. Like when you start getting in the conference play and you start getting into the more beef of your schedule, it's harder to get those wins down the stretch and to get yourself to bowl eligibility. But I think they'll be okay. I'm just curious to see like how he's going to do starting. I mean, when I look at the names on this list, yeah, a lot of them are in good, like how you said, Sonny Dykes is in good standing. But I think if they kind of have an season, like I think that could kind of like he's kind of teeter-tottering since like that national title berth. I think Kansas State, they're not going to get rid of him anytime soon. He's in really good standing. Kansas, man, what pisses me off with Kansas, they get our hopes up. They start off really good, thinking about damn time. Like you winning, but I don't think it's going to be in their favor this year, man. Like they lost some really good players. I don't think he's a bad coach, but like you said, that's another place that's an uphill battle to recruiting because nobody wants to go to Kansas. Nobody wants to be in the Wizard of Oz, like nothing like that. So I mean, the two probably the most favorable positions are probably BYU and Texas Tech. I just think that they're just more desirable to play there, and they just have a lot more money to spend, in my opinion.
No, I can't disagree with you, man. I think, but I will get a little pushback on Sonny Dykes though, because I feel like he's closer to a top guy just based off of making the title game.
Yeah,
Now, eventually, the rust
that'll wear off.
Yeah, it wears off, man. But I think as we come into this season, I think he's the closest to the top guy thing as anybody else on the list. You know, I don't think anybody else, unless they make the college football playoff, can test that theory. But I do think everybody on here should be safe if they had a bad season. That's what I'm saying, right? But then we'll get into the guys that might not be safe if they have a bad season. So, all right, so the guy that had the most intriguing journey as I was putting this whole thing together is Scott Satterfield. So I want to say we're in 2025, right? So 2014 he was at Appalachian State and they went in like 10 plus games looking real good, unbeatable, right? And then he takes the job. I forgot what job he took after that, but it wasn't that good, right? And then he gets this job, Louisville. That was the job. He took the job at Louisville, and it wasn't that good. And then he gets this job at Cincinnati, and that hasn't been that good. Now, don't get me wrong. At Louisville, there was like 8 wins, right? Not terrible, but definitely not where you would think they would be, you know? And then he goes to Cincinnati, who just a couple years ago was in a college football playoff, you know? So they had talent, right? So when you look at Cincinnati, it's like, man, they really came a long way downward from the Luke Fickell era, right? Not a threat anymore. They're just in the Big 12, one of those teams that's just there, right? So I think if you're just there in this conference and don't have the ability to steal some games, whether that be on offense, outscoring somebody, or on defense, making the game really ugly, 7-10 wins like that. I don't see Cincinnati like that. So his job might be in jeopardy if they don't improve, right? Then we go to Willie Fritz. I think I forgot where he was at.
He was Tulane's
Tulane.
coach.
Yeah, Tulane.
He's the one who brought them back to relevancy.
Yeah, so he's an older coach, right? So he's like 68, right? So college football coaching is becoming a young man's sport, right? Especially moving through the ranks, right? The people that move or fast track through the ranks are probably young dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like Tom Herman was like 30 something, when he hopped on that train to go to Texas, right? He's a young dude. You know what I'm saying? So for an older guy, to have a program that's struggling like this, you know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. He built up Tulane, right? And it took him a long time to build up Tulane, right? And if you're thinking about how old he is already, they might be looking for a new face, a new younger face, a more, I would say, somebody that's more like Rhett Lashley. right? And I think that might be a step down for him, actually. Coming from SMU to go to Houston, I think that will be a step down for him. But his offensive genius might just be a little bit more, and he's younger, might be a better fit, right? And I think that's what's wrong with Houston right now. I think they don't have a vision, and it's not looking too good. We know Houston as the Case Keenum show, right? You know, in my era, in the past era, they just run and gun. They got a couple quarterbacks that should have won Heisman's, right? So one did, Andre Ware. So that's what I envision Houston as, right? So I think their vision is lost right now, and I don't see them improving for real. And I think if Cincinnati has a bad year and Houston has a bad year, I think they both could be gone, right? And then we go into Brent Brennan, right? So we came into the season thinking Arizona was probably going to be one of those teams last year, right? One of those teams that was okay. No, we talked about it. We talked
I
about
don't
it, and
think.
we felt like they were going to win like 8 games, something like that, because they
I
had
don't know if I thought they were going to win that many because they
we
were
did.
struggling. Because they've been struggling even in the Pac-12.
No, but they was bringing back Fafita, and they had big receiver that was really good.
Yeah, McMillan.
So I felt like we were thinking positive, right? Like dark
Mhm.
horse type positive, right? Because Fafita was really good the year before. So I felt like that's where we were going. But last season was terrible, even with a top 10 receiver and probably a top 15 quarterback in college football. So where do they go from here? I don't know. Right now, you bring back Fafita, he's coming back. But what else do you have? And them coming off some really rough coaching tenures, right? Rich Rod was rough. He was making like 10 million plus.
Kevin Sumlin.
And then Kevin Sumlin was rough. And I don't think they won the bowl game at all. So this guy has a tough road ahead of him, but I don't know how much leash he really has, if
Mm-hmm.
that's fair to say. Because I don't know if you give him all the leash to just like, hey, this will be a bad season, so it's okay, right? I don't think he has that kind of leash, but I do think the fact that he's been able to recruit a little bit, I think it might help. So, am I right or wrong on these three guys, or what?
I think we kind of underselling Houston a little bit. I know they haven't been that good, but they have had their hands in the pot on a lot of big time recruits. A lot of these guys, I see Houston's name in on a lot of them.
Okay.
And I'm not saying he could fix it this year, but I feel like even if they struggle, I just feel like they're in contention. They get a lot of these good players. I don't see them wanting to cut him loose that fast. That's unbiased aside. Like I like Willie Fritz from being at Tulane, but
Yeah.
I think he's been able to kind of go under the radar in recruiting and trying to do things in the transfer portal. Cincinnati is in a very unfavorable spot because they are very unknown. They don't have an identity. Ever since Luke Fickell left, it feels like it's kind of been trickling down. And Arizona's just in a really crappy spot. Like, just to be completely honest with you, like in the Big 12, there are the teams that we expect to be pretty good. There are the middle of the road teams that could be really good, possibly. And then you have a few of these teams that I just don't have any expectations for. And Arizona is one of those. I'm sorry. They just haven't had a true identity in a long time. And I haven't seen anything big enough to make me think that, his job is secure or that they're going to be in contention for even a bowl game. Like, I need to see a little bit something.
No, I understand that. Nah, that's fair. Like I said, man, Houston. I just remember Houston being really good, and I ain't felt that good about Houston in a long time. So, but nonetheless, let's get into the new guys or the old guys. All right, so let's get into it, right? So, all right, so welcome to the Big 12 and welcome home to these dapper gentlemen right here. So, Rich Rod had a rough career after leaving West Virginia, right? Had them close as you can get to the national title game. Thursday night game against Pittsburgh, the backyard brawl. Nobody showed up on offense, and they lost that game like 13-9. I was like, oh, I hope Mizzou don't lose. And yes, we did. And that was 2007, one of the craziest seasons I think we've ever had in college football history, right? But Rich Rod leaves. He has actually the Alabama job, a contract on his desk. And he's like, I don't want to go. So there you go. Opens up the new dynasty that we got right now, right? Rich Rod takes his talents to Michigan, and they get beat up on by Ohio State for years. And then he goes, I want to say, to Arizona, and one of the highest paid coaches, but
No,
under
he did Jack State too.
yeah, but that was after
after Arizona, yeah.
Yeah. So Arizona wasn't that well, man. He had a good quarterback in Khalil Tate, though. Khalil Tate was balling. Khalil Tate was off the chain, bro. They ain't win no games, but when you got like 200 yards rushing and like 300 yards passing, yo, he just needed a little more time. That's all. But of course, he was making like 10 plus, so you're not really gonna do that, man. What's up, Scrollowski 13? What's up with you? But Rich Rod, after a successful run at Jacksonville State, including a couple bowl game victories that I personally enjoyed, he returned into his roots of West Virginia to give it another go. Right, he's bringing back some of his old bandmates. Pat White has some job there. I think Steve Slayton has one as well. So he's bringing back some guys to really, bring that culture back from West Virginia. And I personally think as we go down the stretch, they're going to be a dark horse because Neil Brown left that cupboard really full of talent. They just won 9 games like 2 years ago. So that's why I thought Neil Brown was safe. Because I was like, yo, you win 9 games, you got talent here. But him or Rich Rod, what feels better? Rich Rod definitely feels better, right? So that's why I think he got that job, man. Not only because he was a good coach, but that just feels like a really good full circle moment, man. All right, I done been beat up, but the last time we were really good was the last time I was there. So I'm ready to go. What about y'all, right? So then we get into the other familiar face on the screen, man, and that's Scott Frost, man. Scott Frost, another guy that took the journey above, into the ranks of like highest paid coaches in the country, right? And he fell victim to circumstance, in my opinion. Nebraska was supposed to be his dream job, right? It only guy there. They were supposed to fix it, and it's supposed to be awesome, right? It didn't work out like that. They lost a lot of ball games that they should have won. Let's be honest with you. And when it comes time to lose, when you're losing close games, man, that's a mental thing. That's a mental thing. Damn, we gotta run some more wind sprints in the summer. We need to get our mental together. And that's not what happened at Nebraska. So, but circle back. Before that, UFC was the spot, bro. Dylan Gabriel playing, throwing all them touchdowns with them. I want to say they had who they have? Was it Milton too? Mackenzie Milton?
Was he there when Gabriel was there, or was that Malzahn?
No, man, no. Malzahn just got there.
He's been there like 3 years.
Yeah, but Dylan Gabriel been at like 3 different schools too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, bro. Dylan Gabriel. Let me see. I'll look it up real quick, man. So we're not spreading no false rumors like Manti Te'o. We don't want to do that, man. But I want to say, yeah, Dylan Gabriel was with UFC. Not UFC, UCF, should I say. Yeah. Yeah, 2019. Let me see. We're doing some fact checking here, man. I be having so much stuff in my mind.
Let me go grab something real quick.
All right, man. No problem, man. No problem, man.
Quick second.
Anyway, as I look at this stuff, man, I want to say, yeah, man. So I know Josh Heupel was there. So that's 2018, 2019, right? That's Josh Heupel. 2017. So now Dylan Gabriel wasn't there yet. He wasn't there yet. But they was undefeated that season. And now, he's back after, I think he spent last season when he got fired from Nebraska. He was at an analyst for the Rams. So he's got some pretty good knowledge now. And UCF is still, in a pretty good spot moving forward. So we'll see, man. I'm just excited to see him back coaching again. And hey, let's see what they can do. But he wasn't at UCF. Like Gabriel wasn't there yet. Gabriel was under Josh Heupel.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. So yeah.
Yeah. So, but nonetheless, man, they won a bowl game at UCF. They beat Auburn, I want to say, in the Chick-fil-A Bowl or something like that. It was in Atlanta. So, but nonetheless, it's good to see these guys back coaching again, and at places that we know them to have great success, man. So, nonetheless, shout out to these two, man. So, I want to say after this, we get into the breakdown of the teams. So, Brandon, you run that commercial, man, as we do this. So, take a little break, stretch our legs. We'll be right back.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So we get into some more action, man. So let's start breaking down these teams, man. So the Arizona State Sun Devils, man, obviously won the conference last year, looking good, bringing back some really key pieces. So I'm excited to see what they can do. Can they repeat as champions? They got the quarterback coming back, and that's a big piece. So however he does, that's how good their team is gonna be, man. So what you thinking?
I think Arizona State has really set them up so well. I mean, obviously, you do lose a couple key players at Scatterbo and some other skill positions. I think they showed out just like Oregon showed out in the Big Ten. Like nobody, I'm not going to say nobody. Obviously, I think we both picked Oregon to win the Big Ten. But it doesn't happen that often when a team can go into a pretty notable conference to be able to get the tires on the ground running. I think Arizona State has really set themselves up well. With even the pieces that they've lost, having a guy like Sam Levitt running your team and having it on his back, seeing how he performed in that Peach Bowl loss with Arizona State, questionably should have won that game. I still think they're the favorite, if not one of the favorites, to come out and win this conference, like hands down, like no questions asked.
All right, no. I like that, man. So let's
You
get
think they're in the same win range, or
um
I think they could win 10 games.
yeah, I think 10 plus. I think 10 plus. All right, then we got the Cyclones of Iowa State, man. So winners of 11 games, including the bowl game. That probably shouldn't have been that close anyway, but nonetheless, it was. Like I said, I like the Pop Tarts Bowl, man, because I like me some Pop Tarts. So let's just be honest, right? But they took a loss in the Big 12 title game. They bring back some good pieces. I do like the fact that the quarterback is coming back. I do like Matt Campbell, man. I mean, he seems to just squeeze every amount of talent out of this team, every team he's had. You know, whether it be a 6-win, 7-win team that just steals some wins just because they never quit, right? But I think this year might be one of those seasons where they just come back to normalcy a little bit. And I think 7, 8 wins might be where they fall, you know. But they're gonna be a thorn in somebody's side. So 7 of those 8 wins might come at the extent of a Colorado or an extent of an Arizona State, right? Something like that. They're gonna steal some games because they're that talented. So what you think?
I think they're going to be good regardless. I just think they're very well coached and they get the most out of the talent they have. I don't know if I have them winning the conference. I think they're still in the conversation. I give them at least 10 wins and a possible Big 12 championship berth.
You think the Cyclones
It's
or
possible.
Big 12 title berth? Okay.
Possibly. I didn't say for sure, but I think they can still maybe find it, depending on how the dominoes fall. But I'm not the most confident saying that they're going to make it there. I just think they have a chance.
Okay. All
Like,
right.
I'm confident Arizona State will be back there because of what they bring back. Iowa State, like they need a lot of things to go their way, but it's possible. If that makes sense.
Okay. All right.
So 9-10 wins.
All right. All right, let's get into it, man. All right, so we got the BYU Cougars, man, winners of 11 games. Took out Colorado in the bowl game, which was interesting because usually conference mates don't meet in the bowl game, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that was interesting. They got that win, and they looked pretty dominant in that game, you know. So you like to imagine like how many people were actually checked out because it wasn't that competitive in my opinion, man. But I think they can fall sort of in this range again. Like, but I'm more 7 to 9 though.
Mm-hmm.
I think 7 to 9. Like I said, the winner of this conference might have 2 or 3 losses, man. Like it's some really good teams, and BYU is one of them. Like I said, I think they have a better defense than offense this season. So I think they'll steal some games as well. Maybe games that they're not favored in, and they'll do damage. So that's why I say 7-9, because like I said, the winner is probably gonna have 2 losses. So whether that's 10 wins or 9 wins, depending on how your schedule shakes out, whatever. But the winner is not gonna look like the best team. But when they get to the playoffs, they're gonna be battle tested because they done been playing tough games all year long, you know. So that's my BYU take.
I think they fall kind of into the same boat as Iowa State. BYU's a really physical team. They don't really get out physical too many times. In the games they lost last year, they kind of just let things get away from them.
Yeah.
I think they'll be okay. I think they fall into the 7 to 9 win range as well. I don't necessarily see them competing to win the conference, but they're definitely going to be one of the upper echelon of programs going into this year.
All right. Let's see. Let's get it. We're moving through it. All right. So one of the teams that I really want to talk about today is Colorado, man. As we get into, this is one of my favorites to win the conference. Because I like what they've done on defense. I've liked what they've done on offense, getting, a transfer quarterback, and they got a 5-star quarterback to come over there after him. So they got the lineage of quarterback play to really make things difficult for the next 2 to 3 years, right? Before you got to find the next guy, right? But if Dion's still there 2 or 3 years from now, they're gonna get somebody to want to come and play at Colorado, right? You get the exposure, you're getting taught how to play life after football, right? And I think the thing that separates them from last season is the fact that they brought in Marshall Faulk. Like they had a really rough time running the football last year. I think they losing the guy that they lost to Kansas State last year in the transfer
Dylan
cycle.
Johnson,
Yeah.
Dylan Sampson.
Nah, Dylan. I think it's Dylan Edwards.
Yeah, Dylan Edwards. That's what it was.
Yeah. So losing him turned out to be a detriment to their whole team. Like the game they lost against Kansas State last season, where they just out physical, they could have beat them had they just ran the ball, but they had no option. So I feel like when they when they come this season, they're gonna be a lot more physical, and I think they'll win a lot more games. So I'm thinking they're gonna be in that 9 to 11 range. I think so.
So they still need to show me something. I really like them getting Caden Salter from Liberty. I thought that was a really good move because now he can really sling it. And now that gives Julian Lewis a second to, he doesn't have to get thrusted in as a true freshman. No, I mean, if they feel like it's necessary, then yeah. But I think Caden Salter is going to be the difference in them winning a lot of games. He finally gets to play with a lot more like upscale talent, better program. I think they're going to really have an emphasis on running the ball, which will mean that he will not have to freaking sling the ball 40, 50 times a game, which means the offense will probably be a lot more balanced than it's been over the last couple of years. My thing is I need a – hoping Dion's freaking health isn't a freaking concern either because he's missed a lot of time in the offseason. I'm hoping that he's able to be there full-time in the building with these guys because if that's a factor and he's not, like that is a detriment to your team winning a lot of games as well. I don't necessarily think that that's going to be an issue. I need to see how they're going to start the year. I don't know if I'm ready to put them in the 10 to 11, but I could still see them in that 8 to 9 win range and still be able to steal some and maybe sneak their way into the title game for sure.
Okay, no. I like that idea. I do. I like it, but I'm gonna surprise you with my pick for the championship game, though. But I do think they're a lot better than people give them credit for, and I do think an uptick in physicality should help them a lot this season. Let's just say that. So move on to the next squad, man. The next squad. So you're the Baylor, man. So you saw this team, on the field in the bowl game. So I want to see what you think of Baylor, right? Because I think we both said that Baylor was not going to be good last season, and 8 wins is pretty damn good, man. So I think you got into it a little bit earlier where you said that Baylor wasn't going to be, if they could sustain this success going into this season. So you saw them play in the bowl game. What did you think? And what do you think about them coming in this season?
I didn't think they played bad, but they kind of had dug themselves a little bit in the hole and they had to kind of dig themselves out, which is kind of like what was happening to them early on in the season. They just were letting the games get out of hand, and that's why they were losing so many early on. My biggest thing, like what I was saying, was I just want to see if they can bridge some of that winning into the start of the year. That's my biggest thing. Like, let's not get complacent and then slip back into old tendencies and old habits, because I don't know if you're going to have that same – because, like, yeah, his job seems secure right now, but if they start out the season anything relatively like what they did last year, it's going to be another uncomfortable situation, and I don't know. There's a lot of unknown there. Really just – the biggest thing for me, if you can start out, like, say your first 5 games, you can start out the year like 4-1, 3-2. You're at least trending in the right direction. I don't think they're bad. Like, they have talent, but I think the key thing for them is trying to carry over that same mindset they had at the end of last year and bringing that into the beginning of this year. 8 wins kind of seems like a stretch for me. I'd say at least 7, maybe 8. I wouldn't go any higher because I just need to see if they can kind of carry that same like play style back into this year.
Okay. That's cool. About the same for me. About the same. All right, so TCU did pretty good, man, last season. 9 wins. Like I said, the order of the teams is based off of the rankings at the end of the season. So maybe Baylor beat TCU, that's why they're ahead or whatever. Common opponent, all that math that they do, right? We don't do that here. But nonetheless, man, TCU 9 wins, man. Pretty good. That's why I said, man, you don't win 9 games and be, not a top coach, right? Because they won like 13 the year before, and then now they win like 9 this year, and it's pretty good. Not terrible, not terrible. So I think they might be 8 to 10. I think they got a shot to be in that Big 12 title picture at the end of the season. It just depends on how many games they lose in conference, quite frankly. Because obviously, that's the conference title picture. But I think that's gonna be the determinant, because not that they would lose, but how many games they lose in conference will determine, in my opinion. Because everybody's gonna have a couple losses in conference standings. So if you got like 2, but you ain't played Colorado or something, right? That might help you because Colorado might have to play somebody that you don't have to play. So I think however that season goes, they're gonna be in the picture. Like I said, it's at least 4 teams that I think might be in the picture. And I got a dark horse that might be taking this whole thing. But we'll get into that a little later. But what you think about the Horned Frogs of Texas Christian University?
Wishing they had LT to start, but
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think we're kind of stringing along I think we're kind of getting to the tail end of the teams that we think are kind of in that picture. I think now you're kind of after TC, you're going to start kind of getting into the intermediate and bottom feeders, at least in my opinion. I think they're going to be a sleeper team regardless. TCU is always relevant. I think they did lose some really key players, though. It's kind of going to hurt them. Losing Jack Best was a big freaking playmaker for them, so they're going to need production from the receiver position to replace what he was doing. I think TCU is anywhere between 7 and 9 wins. They're going to be in contention, like you said. I think it's just going to come down to when they lose and then like who they lose to in conference is like how it's going to shake out for a lot of teams, including them.
All right. No. That's fair. All right. Let's see. Let's see who's next. All right. So Texas Tech, one of the teams that we talked about extensively because they got some good players coming back. They also won the Alamo Bowl. No, I lied. That's the wrong one. I was like, yo, how they be? I'm like, how they be in the Alamo Bowl too?
How that work?
My bad. I probably copy and pasted that thing, man. But nonetheless, Texas Tech still won. They still won like 8 games though. They did win like 8 games. I want to say that for sure.
They lost to Arkansas 39-26 in the Liberty Bowl.
Okay. So that means somebody else got the Liberty Bowl on here.
And they got a decent schedule. Like Texas Tech, they start off against Pine Bluff. That's a win. They got Kent State. They should be able to win. Against Oregon State could be interesting because they got Malik Murphy. They got to go to Utah, at Houston. They got home against Kansas. This was a tough one at Arizona State. That's going to be a freaking hard one. Home against Oklahoma State. Then we got at K-State. Home against BYU. Home against UCF. But they finished the year going to West Virginia. So they've got a decent – like it's not going to be the easiest schedule in the conference for sure.
Okay, so I don't know. So like I said, they won 8 games last year. So I did get that part right. And I like what they bringing back. I do. I like defense specifically what they got on defense, right? So when I look at their particular schedule, like you were talking about, you know, I see maybe a 3-0 start, right? And altogether, I really see maybe a 4-1 start because I think Utah might be a tougher game than people think about because it's on the road.
Mm-hmm. But the
But
two
I
games
think,
after that are winnable.
yeah, and I think so. At that point, you're like 4-1 possibly, but then you get Kansas.
I think
Um,
they win that game.
I think they win that one too.
But the
But
next one's one I got to chalk up as an L because that's just
yeah,
that's a hard environment to win in anyway.
so that's like 5-2.
Mm-hmm.
And then Oklahoma State, I think that'll be a tough one because even though they're gonna be at home for that one, I still think Oklahoma State's still good. So I'm gonna say it's a win right now. So that's 6-2. So they're bowl eligible right now.
Then they got to go to Snyder Stadium.
Yeah, so I think that's a loss. So that's 6-3. And I think they lose to BYU in a crazy close game because that's a rivalry game. So that's like 6-4. I'd be comfortable with that. And I think they should be UCF, but that's an even closer game too. So I'm thinking 6 to 8 wins. I was thinking they would take the next step, but this schedule is crazy. And like I said, the Big 12 is gonna be kind of a cannibalistic thing. They're gonna eat each other. So the winner of this conference is gonna have like 3 losses, like at least, because one team gonna beat them one week, and the next week you might be the team that get beat. So that's kind of how I feel. So 6 to 8 wins, right? So that's right.
I really like what they've done on defense, and I still think they have good talent on offense. Then bringing back a veteran quarterback this year, I'm gonna upgrade your answer. Give me 9 wins. I think Texas Tech can squeak out some of those ones that we might think they might not be able to. I think the money they have to win those games. When you spend 20+ million in NIL, you have to have your ducks in a row. I think Texas Tech's make that step. I think they're in the conversation. Give me 9 wins.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. All right. Let's see what we got next, man. All right. So we got Kansas State, man. Kansas State 9 wins, looking real good. So I think the 5-star guy they added is gonna help them on offense tremendously, right? They had a really good game against Rutgers, man. Really good. Like
Dude,
that was classic, man.
their
And
schedule's
Rutgers,
not bad either.
huh?
Their schedule's not bad.
No.
You
So
looking at it?
yeah.
Freaking now the first game of the year is questionable. Iowa State. I think you might be able to win that one. North Dakota, Army, Arizona. That's 3. I feel like that's 3 wins. I feel like you should be able to get right there. Central Florida's a coin toss for me. I feel like you should be able to go into Baylor and beat them. You got TCU at home. Then you go to Kansas. But then the end is kind of like that last 4 games is going to be a hard one for you to win. Getting
Yeah.
Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, Utah, and Colorado.
Yeah, you got Oklahoma State and Utah on the road too. So
Mm-hmm.
those definitely aren't two places I want to go on the road in November. Let's just say that. So yeah. So yeah. And then Colorado's like that's gonna be cold and anyway, no matter what.
In November too, so you
Yeah,
know it's going to
so
be.
that's gonna be a cold game anyway. So like I said, I'd be comfortable saying they'd be in the same spot. You know, I'd be comfortable because you gotta think they're gonna win. They're gonna win at least like theoretically they could
3
beat.
of their first 4 they should be able to win.
They should be maybe undefeated by the time they get to that last 4.
I don't know, bro. TCU, Baylor, and then you still started your Iowa State. Like that game is gonna, I feel like, gonna set the tone for how they play.
Yeah,
If
because
they
it's
lose,
in
if they lose
Ireland
that,
too.
if they lose that game, I think they go on a 3-game win streak. Like they'll beat North Dakota, Army, and Arizona. UCF could be a trap game. They should beat Baylor. TCU's not going to be a cakewalk. Kansas could be a trap game. That could be the game because that's always a game that Kansas wants to show out and win. I mean,
Yeah.
it's tough, bro. Like I probably would feel more comfortable having them in the 6 to 7 win range.
Man, I don't know, man. Kansas State just
They're good. Like I like Kansas State. I love
they're
their lineage.
good. That's the thing. Like I don't know if I don't know, man, because I'm thinking the same spot, man. I'm thinking 7-9, man, and I really feel like they're gonna start off this season hot, and then the 4 games that they have at the end is probably gonna dictate their whole season. Because that's tough. Because I think Colorado's going to be good. I think Utah's going to be even better. I think Oklahoma State's going to be better, and obviously Texas Tech should be fighting for the title. So like, and I thinking all these teams going to play each other. So it's like it's going to be a round robin to see who gets that last spot. Because I think Arizona State's probably going to be a lock to me. I think that would be the team I'm comfortable giving a lock to. But that next team is gonna be a roulette. You know what I'm saying? Hey, pick one. Like who you want. Who had the most wins against common opponents? Like we're gonna start breaking college football stuff, college football playoff stuff into this. That's how crazy it's gonna be, man. But like I said, I feel comfortable 7-9 though. Let's see who's next, man. As we go through this thing, man. So West Virginia. All right. So we talked about Rich Rod, man, coming there, man. And the team isn't terrible. Let's just say that. The team isn't terrible. So I'm excited to see how
Ooh,
they do this season.
this schedule's kind of, it's not simple either though, bro. Like you get an easy one week 1. You get Robert Morris. That's a win. You go to Ohio. You start out 2-0. But you get battle tested early because you got Eli Holstein coming to West Virginia. You got to play them. That
That's
could
a
be a possibility.
loss. That's a
You got
loss.
them. You go to Kansas. That's a win.
Well, that's 4-1.
Utah comes to West Virginia. That's not going to be an easy game to win, but we don't know what Utah is going to be working with offensively yet, as of like how good their offense can be without Rising. I'll give them a win there.
I'll be comfortable 4-1.
I'll give them that. Then they got to go play at BYU. I think they lose that game.
Yeah, that's 4-2.
At UCF, that's a dub.
That's 5-3.
I think they can beat TCU.
That's 5 wins. That's 6.
They play home against TCU.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think I take an L.
Yeah, I think you're both eligible at this point.
Yeah, you already got 6 wins, so you're what, 6-3?
Yeah, I think you beat Houston.
You got Houston. That's a dub. I think you can beat Colorado at home. I think the environment might give you the edge, but I don't think it's going to be easy, to say the least. But I think they dropped the last 2 though.
Yeah.
So I've got them with 7 wins. So they improved 1.
And that's an improvement on the last season, though.
Yeah, and that's not including a bowl game, so they could realistically finish with 8 wins, which would be a 2-game improvement. So that's good. That's not bad for year 1 with Rich Rodriguez. I mean, I don't know if you agree with me, but I got them at 7 regular season. They might end up having 8 if they win a bowl game.
Yeah, I could see 7 to 8. 7 to 8. Because I said that this would be kind of the dark horse situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because the team's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
At all, right? And like I said, sometimes a new coach with different ideas can really help you win, you know. So I'm thinking about 7, 8. But I said it'd be a dark horse, man, because nobody knows what this team looks like under Rich Rod, right? And it's gonna
It
be
could either be
interesting.
really good or really,
Yeah, I mean, either way,
I
like
don't think it's going to be bad though, because I feel like he's kind of reasserted himself for what he did at Jack State. I don't think they'll
yeah,
be bad at all.
yeah, because there's like some winnable games in here. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some games that
And
you
they
could
could win
win.
more than that. It really just depends on how they start off the year, because the front half isn't that bad. It's not
Yeah,
that bad outside of like you probably taking an L to you might take an L to Pittsburgh and Utah, if not BYU, but you can win all those games. It's not impossible.
but they gonna be turned up to play against Pittsburgh though, because that's like the last one of the last games he played there or coached there,
Mm-hmm.
and that team took away. I want to say took away the national title, and Pat Narduzzi's still there because I think he was the one that did it. I think it might have been him or it might have been Dave Wanstead.
I think it was someone else. I don't know if Narduzzi was. You got to think this is like 07, 08. So that's like a long time ago.
Yeah, but Narduzzi's been there about 10 years though.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I don't know. That might have been Dave Wanstead too. Because Dave Wanstead was at Pitt for a little bit too. After he left the Dolphins, he was there for a little bit. So either way, it's gonna be a tough game because that's old school big East action.
I missed the
So
Big East
yeah, me too.
and the WAC.
Yeah, I missed the WAC too, man. I miss
Ain't
old
nobody staying
conference
up to watch
USA
that though.
too. I miss old conference USA too.
Mm-hmm.
Like that used to be fun. But we got the Kansas Jayhawks, man. I think we keep this a little brief, man. I'm thinking they're gonna be ass. I'm sorry. I think they might be around the same thing. I'd be willing to go 4 to 6 wins. That's what I'd be willing to go.
Damn.
4 to 6.
I'm not gonna get into the specifics, but they got Fresno State.
Yep.
They got Wagner. They got
Fresno State's a loss. Wagner's might be a win.
They playing at Missouri.
Loss.
Home against West Virginia.
That's 3 losses.
They playing home against Cincinnati. They can win that game.
Yeah, so still 3.
At UCF.
That might be a loss.
At Texas
That's
Tech.
4. That's 5 losses.
Home against K-State.
That's 6.
Home against Oklahoma State.
That's 7. That's 7. I'm sorry. That's 7.
At Arizona.
That's a win, but you had 7 losses.
At Iowa State.
So that's 8.
And finishing the year home against Utah.
Yeah, I'm thinking 3 and 9, bro. Sorry. And I like
we can't pick everybody to be, someone's got to lose some games. And Kansas lost some good players too. Them losing Devin Neal was a big deal. Like he was a huge difference maker for them.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, I don't think I think 9 losses for them.
Bring Les Miles back.
That was worse.
Not as bad as who was there before.
Yeah, whoever was there before that.
Charlie Weiss.
Oh, he was, wasn't he?
That's why I said Les Miles kind of stabilized everything.
Damn.
They were bad, dog. Like garbage bag on head bad, dog.
Yeah, bro. They lost to North Dakota State, the Jackrabbits, before they got good.
Oh, you talking about South Dakota State?
South Dakota State. Yeah. They lost to them. Like, and it's because dude tried to spike the ball, but he fumbled it first. So then they lost the game, bro. I was like, oh my God, that's embarrassing.
And that's what made them good though. That's why they win national titles now.
Yeah, South Dakota State's good as hell. Yep. We should next season we should do a FCS.
Yeah, we're gonna do a full FCS thing.
Yeah, we gotta do that, man. So God damn, did I do that wrong again? I did.
It's okay. It'll be fine.
I put the Houston thing on there. I got them mixed up. My bad.
Hold up. Let's see.
I got them mixed up.
I'll pull up what they.
Yeah, my bad.
You're good. Let's see.
Bad. Let me see. Hold up.
All right, so
Houston.
Let's see. November 23, August 24. Okay, so last season they went. Let's see. 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 4-2, 5-2.
So they was doing Cincinnati.
Yeah. 5-4, 5-5, 5-6, 5. Yeah, so you were right. 5-7.
Yeah.
Now their schedule this year, it's all right. It's not really it's not favoring them at all. I mean, you start out the season home against Nebraska, that's a loss. I think Nebraska will be better. You got home against Bowling Green. I'll give you the win, but Bowling Green's good, bro.
Yeah.
I'll give you a win, so you're 1-1. You got Northwestern State, that's a win. At Kansas. Home against Iowa State, that's an L. Home against UCF, that's probably going to be another L. At Oklahoma State,
Yeah.
that's going to be another one. Home against Baylor, I'm going to give the edge to Baylor. This is better. You got at Utah, that's another L. Home against Arizona, I'll give you the win there. And then you finish up the year home against BYU, another loss, and then at TCU, that's another loss. So I'm going to be honest with you, they're going to probably be in that 3 to 4 win range as well.
Yeah. Bottom feeder, man.
Sucks, man. I like Cincinnati, man. Cool history.
Now we got the real Houston Cougars.
Hey, they need a brand. Hey, they didn't care what the Tennessee Titans had the rights to this jersey. They rocked them last year. I hope they get fined for it again because they rocked the freaking Oilers colorways last year.
I like that too. That was nice.
They were like, I don't give a damn. We about to rock the hell out of these jerseys.
I'm like, y'all in Tennessee, what y'all worried about Houston for?
You know y'all didn't want nothing to do with that. You'd be all right.
Yeah, like y'all don't want nothing to do. But Houston, they're going against Stephen F. Austin, so that's a win. They got Rice, that's a win.
They win that.
Colorado, that might be a loss. So it's 2-1.
They might be able to squeak one out of Oregon State, though.
Yeah, so that's 3-1.
That's
Texas
another
Tech's a loss. Oklahoma State's a loss. Arizona, so that's like 3 losses so far. Arizona, they might get that one. They're gonna lose to Arizona State.
West Virginia.
Yeah, so we're sitting at like maybe 5 or 6 losses already. So then we get into that point where from November 7th to the 29th, you got UCF. I mean, my bad. I hate their logo, man. But you got UCF, TCU, and Baylor. And I think if it came down to bowl eligibility, they have to win all 3 or at least 2 out of 3.
I just don't.
And I think you might beat.
I think they get 5 wins.
Yeah, I think you finish the season maybe stealing 1 out of these 3.
I don't know if they can get bowl eligible though. That's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think they come up short.
Yeah, I think their season ends at like 5-7 with a close loss to Baylor on the road, man. But I do think maybe Baylor wins that game and becomes bowl eligible.
Somebody's got to win.
It's gonna be rough, man. Baylor's gonna win some games, but this conference is gonna be stupid hard, man. Whoever wins is probably not gonna be in the playoff long because they're gonna be beat up by the time they get there. So that's my thing, man. But then we get into the bottom feeders even more, man. It's tough, man. But I mean, Utah, I think they're gonna be better. I think Utah will be better.
Let's see. I'm just curious. All right, so let's pick up where you left off. That's an interesting first couple of games. So you go to UCLA, which is random, but I mean, it's kind of like a Pac-12 game. I think Utah wins that game.
Yeah, that's a win.
But I don't think it'd be by a lot, though, because I'm kind of curious to see what Deshaun Foster's got going on. You got Cal Poly. That's a win.
Yeah.
Should be able to go to Wyoming and get a win.
Yeah.
Home against Texas Tech.
War Memorial is tough.
Man, that game against Texas Tech could go either way, in my opinion. Because Utah's tough at home.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give it to Texas Tech.
I'll be willing to go 3-1.
Okay.
I'll be willing to go 3-1.
At West Virginia, I think they take the loss.
No, I think they get that one.
Did they beat West Virginia?
I think they get that one.
Okay. I can agree. They get home against Arizona State.
Yeah, so I'd be willing to say they 5-0. I'd
Going
be
into that game.
Well,
no, I think they take at least one of those. I think they drop at least one of them to Texas Tech or West Virginia. It just depends which one you feel more comfortable with.
Man, I don't know, man.
If I'm willing to bet, I don't think Utah loses at home. If I'm willing to bet.
Okay. But all right, so say they are 5-0.
Okay. They taking that loss though.
No, I'm just saying, say they're 5-0 going against Arizona State. That's a much watched game. If we can get them 5-0 going against Arizona State, man, we gotta stream that game. We gotta find a way to stream it, right? It'll be a late game, so you're gonna be tired the next day. But that's okay. We gotta take it back to the Hawaii days when we used to watch Coach Brennan at midnight, 1 in the morning. We gotta do that. But if they can do that, I guarantee we'll probably stream that one. If you can't do it, I'll do it because I actually would love to see that.
So you don't think they drop one of those two?
I think they drop one.
Which one
I think it's probably Texas Tech though.
You think? You think they drop the one at home?
Yeah, I think so because Texas Tech should be on a little bit of a roll. They should be ready to go. Like they should be good. It's a tough because the beginning of their season is a lot easier than the end of it. So I'm thinking that Texas Tech might be on a roll, and I think they might get that one.
Okay, so you got Arizona State.
But they still got one loss headed into Arizona State, though. That's what I'm comfortable saying.
I'm gonna give them a loss to Arizona State. I think they just cut them off.
No, I think they're gonna lose to Arizona State. I do. I didn't think they're gonna win that game, but I do. I just wanted to see a good matchup in the middle of the season. That would be pretty good.
Then you got at BYU.
Yeah, get that one.
Home against Colorado.
I think they lose that one. I think
if Colorado's offense is humming, then yeah, I think they have too much.
Yeah, I don't think they have enough to beat Colorado. So that's like 3 losses right there.
And to be honest with you, they could realistically win the last 4 games.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
So honestly, they're definitely bowl eligible.
Yeah,
I think Utah's sitting in the 7 to 8 win range, maybe depending. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say if they lose 4, it'll probably be 8 wins. If they lose 3, it'll be like 9. And I think 8 to 9 is pretty good. I think they'll be a whole lot better. I think 8 to 9 wins.
Well, there's a lot. You got to think that there were a lot of question marks, and they were trying to fill in the gaps without him playing. I think now they've kind of obviously they're done with that, so they got a lot more clarity, and they'll be able to play a lot like looser, play like the way they're supposed to. So
yeah. So I'm thinking 8 to 9. So we'll see. All right, so we got the UCF Knights, man. So, man, I don't know.
Ooh, that's not bad, bro. Home against Jacksonville State. I think Scott Frost gets the first win right there. North Carolina A&T, that's a win. Oh, Bill Belichick and crew come to town week 3. Yeah. I'll be okay with giving them 3-0.
Yeah, I'd be cool with 3-0 too.
They got to go to Kansas State. I think Kansas State gets that win.
Yeah, I think so too.
They home against Kansas. That's a win. So that's like 4-1 up to this point.
Yeah.
At Cincinnati.
That's 5.
Home against West Virginia.
That's a loss.
5-2. They go to Baylor.
That's a toss up. I don't really know. I don't know, but
I think I, I think I, what you
I'd be
think?
willing to give them. I'd give them a loss in this one,
I
only
think
because
Baylor's got.
I think it's gonna be ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be an ugly game.
So that's like 5-3.
Yeah, 5-3.
Home against Houston, that should be a win.
So that's bowl eligible in November.
They got to go to Lubbock. They got to go to Texas Tech. That's a loss.
I think they get bowl eligible, but they dropped these last three.
So they finished the year, 6-6, huh?
Yeah,
That's not bad.
6 or 7 wins. I'd be comfortable saying that because this last three is rough. Like that's rough to me. I'm sorry, man.
I'd be okay with 6.
You might get to 7 wins because you beat Oklahoma State if they're struggling, but I don't think so. I'm not comfortable with that one.
Okay. I can agree. I can agree with that. 6 wins seems fair.
Yeah.
And that's an improvement, man. They go at 4-8 and 2-7 in conference. They win a lot more conference wins.
Yeah.
And they make
I was so excited for KJ Jefferson though. I thought he was gonna be like, Cam Newton 2.0, bro.
He's supposed to be.
But
if Arkansas would have utilized him correctly.
Yeah, but I don't think he took the necessary steps throwing the ball that I think that you need to be successful in Gus Malzahn's system.
Crazy arm strength though. Dude was good.
Yeah, dude was nice, man. But we look at Anthony Richardson, like we was talking earlier. Like you can have the nice arm, Look at Jalen Milroe. Yeah, crazy good arm, man. But you gotta make those throws across the middle to get that first down, And if you sailing that thing, you're gonna be in a bad spot, man.
You ain't gonna have a spot.
Yeah, exactly. But somehow, Jalen just kept playing, bro. But nonetheless, dog. Nonetheless, man. Arizona, I don't think so. I don't think they're gonna be that good, man. I don't think so, dog.
Let's see if they got okay. So they start out home against Hawaii. I'll give them a win against Hawaii.
No, I'm giving them a loss. You're not beating the Warriors. Nope.
Beating the Rainbow Warriors?
You ain't beating the Rainbow Warriors. Nope.
Okay, so they 0-1. They play Weber State. They win that game. They're 1-1. Home against K-State, that's an L.
Yep.
At Iowa State, that's an L.
Yep.
So at this point, you're 1-3.
Yep.
Home against Oklahoma State, that's an L.
Yep.
Home against BYU.
That's an L.
At Houston?
I think they're going to beat the shit out of them, low-key. I think BYU might beat the shit out of them. That might be so bad, bro. That might be bad.
So they got at Houston.
At home, too, by the way.
Yeah.
Houston, they might get that one.
At Colorado, that's a L.
It's like 6 losses already.
Yeah, we're starting to get into the 4-8 territory already. Home against Kansas.
You can get that one.
At Cincinnati. I don't think they beat. You think they beat Cincinnati? Okay.
Well, I mean, because they still got their quarterback. So,
but the last two I can chalk up as L's. They play at home against Baylor. I think they lose there, and then they got to go to Arizona State. That's not going to be a game.
Well,
it's a competitive
I don't like picking rivalry games because it's bigger than just like wins and losses. Like if Arizona State comes into that game like maybe 1 loss or no losses, like
it could be a gettable.
Like that's a different ball game. Like to just say like I can just fuck up your season, in a 3-hour contest. Like that's the level of petty that Auburn is. Okay. And not saying Arizona's like Auburn, but when it comes to the rivalry games, nothing feels better than pissing on your rival's season. And I guarantee, like, this might be Noah Fafita's last game, like in a Wildcat uniform, minus a bowl game or so. Like, I think he's gonna be turned up for it. So I think Arizona State wins,
But it
but
won't be a cakewalk.
it ain't gonna be a cakewalk. That's gonna be probably one of the best games in the conference this year. Like it's gonna be nasty, man. Especially if Arizona State's as good as they are supposed to be. Yeah, this becomes a big game, because I think aside from it being a rivalry game, I think that the conference is gonna be so close that they have to win this game to probably win the conference. Like I think if they lose it, then we start doing all that extra math that they do to figure out who's gonna win. But I do think it's gonna be they're gonna lose. But I do think they might get 5 or 6 wins though.
I'd be willing to say they're gonna be at 4 again.
Either way, I just want to see them beat Arizona State though. That'll be live.
I don't know. I don't think they get bowl eligible.
No, I don't think so either. But I'd be willing to say the highest I say is 6 though. I'd be 6 because I do think Noah Fafita's a good quarterback, and his play himself might win them like 4 games.
Yeah, I just think the conference as a whole got a lot better though. I think that's kind of like against their favor, if that makes sense.
No, that's not bad. That's not bad. All right, let's see. We should be almost done with this. So should be. All right. Yep. We are.
So we can go out on a limb and say we know it's going to be better.
Or would assume it would be better? We definitely know that's going to be better.
Let's see. Let me see. Well, let's see.
Yeah, UT Martin to start off.
So
that's a win. Oregon, that's a loss. Jeez.
Home against Tulsa? Oregon go smack them, bro.
Yeah, like
Oregon's gonna smack them.
I wasn't expecting Oregon on the list.
Not that.
I would have canceled that game and got me somebody.
Nah, bro, I don't need the payday.
We'll right. I don't want to play them. So they should be Tulsa. 2-1. I think they beat Baylor. I think they
Tulsa.
Yeah, I think they beat
3-1.
Yeah.
At Arizona.
I think they beat Arizona, so that's like 4-1. I think they beat Houston, so that's 5-1.
Should beat Cincinnati,
so that's 6-1.
They gonna lose to Texas Tech. I feel
so that's like 6-2, and then they should beat Kansas. That should be 7-2.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, you're fighting for the Big 12 title right now. At 7-2, I should say.
Got
Kansas State. I think they take that one because they at home. And any other time, I would have took Kansas State. But then they got UCF. I think they take that, and I think they take Iowa State too, man.
I'd be comfortable putting Oklahoma State in the 8 to 9 wins.
Yeah, that's why I think
I'd see 8 to 9. I just need to see what they're gonna. Obviously, they're gonna improve. I don't think Mike Gundy. You got to understand, they were calling for either Mike Gundy's job or they wanted him to take a pay cut, and this man negotiated his way into not even taking a pay cut. So this man's confident enough to come back this season and improve. I think Oklahoma State will get back to what they've used to doing. I think they're in contention.
Mm-hmm. I'll be willing to say that, bro. I'll be willing to say
not you yawning at 9 o'clock.
Hey, bro, I'm old, man. I'm old,
Mr.
bro.
Night Owl himself.
Yeah, I'm old, bro. I'm old, man. I don't be up playing the game, man. I'd be quick to do a stream at like 10 p.m. But I'd be quick to do it. But man, I just been like out of it, man. But that's all right, man. I'll eat me something. I'll be back.
Ain't gonna have no bacon left.
Nah, we ain't doing that again. Nah, man. He's a sausage bandit now. My wife made some breakfast sausage, and he stole like a couple of those. So I was like, whatever, man. But Yeah, but nah, man, I'm just like, bruh, whatever, man. Like I said, I've been on this health journey, man. So I've been trying to get these pounds off. So I've been running like almost every morning or every day for real. So I'm like,
I feel that. Once we get done moving, that'll be me as well. Right
yeah,
now, I'm kind of just in that limbo period. I just don't want to do anything.
appreciate the like, Andrew.
Thank you,
Appreciate the like.
sir.
So, but I'd be willing to say that'd be better. Yeah, I'd be willing to say that'd be about 9 wins, fighting for a conference title. I come back to the stream and see 3-9.
They're not gonna be in that same boat though.
Nah, bro, they ain't gonna be that bad. Yeah,
Dude,
they were
the last
really bad. They were really bad last
Burrow's
season.
been there 20 years. He's only had like 2 real losing seasons. They're gonna get back to winning.
Drive safe, man.
Drive safe.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be. I don't think they're gonna be that bad. See that smooth. I think that'd be a whole lot better, man. But now starts the fun part, man. We start to do well, first let's pick the championship game and then we'll go from there. All right, so the championship game, man, is I'm thinking Arizona State and Colorado. I'm thinking that's your Big 12 title game. And I think Arizona State loses to Colorado. I think Colorado has a lot of momentum going into that game, and I think they win. And because the conference is going to have so many losses, I think that might be the only team that gets in from the Big 12, in my opinion.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's what I would be willing to say.
So we're going to agree to disagree. Arizona State, I feel, is the most complete or just like best experienced team in the conference. I think they're a shoe in, they're a lock. I don't think you can argue against them being back there. And the second spot is going to come down to Texas Tech and Colorado. They both have made substantial improvements with NIL, transfer portal, and especially in recruiting. Colorado gets the number 1 quarterback in the class or top 3 quarterback in the class, and Julian Lewis to get Caden Salter. They improve on the offensive line. You look at Texas Tech, they spent a lot of money on defense and improving somewhat on offense. So both teams are ready to rock and roll. I'm going to give the edge to Texas Tech here. I don't think it's by much. I think it's really going to just depend. I think they do play head-to-head. I think we've seen them play head-to-head, did we?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
I think it's going to come down to that game. I don't know, bro. We haven't seen Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship since they had Graham Harrell and Michael Crabtree.
They don't play Colorado this year.
They don't.
Texas Tech doesn't.
Well, that's gonna be interesting. But I'm gonna shake it up. I don't want to have the same game. I still think Colorado's definitely one of the 3 or 4 that are fighting for that spot. But I'm gonna give the edge to Texas Tech. You spend $20 million. I think they'll have better results than what Nebraska did last year, spend $20 million. So give me Arizona State and Texas Tech, but Arizona State just has too much, in my opinion.
Okay, and Colorado doesn't play Arizona State.
That's favorable.
So I lied. Yes, they do, but they play them at home though.
I was about to say I thought I've seen it,
but they play them at home, so that might be a good one. So. But nonetheless, man.
But I do agree that this conference only brings 1 person, though.
Yeah. So I think we both. You got Arizona State, and then I got Colorado. So, yeah. So that's how. He's at 5 losses for Colorado.
I don't know, man. I think they're going to be improved. I just don't think they're leaning on those big names. I think they've gotten better at the depth. Like their skill positions, they've gotten better. On the offensive line has gotten better. You have a quarterback who doesn't have all that crazy hype, although he is one of the best passers probably in the country in general that nobody's talking about. If Colorado gets back to running the ball and you can utilize that in the play action game with him throwing the ball, Colorado's dangerous. You don't even need Julian Lewis this year. I think Salter is the difference maker with the run game.
Yeah, so I don't think they lose 5. I think they lose like 3 maybe, but they still gonna be like in the title game picture though. Like I would hate to see 5 losses get you into the championship game, but hey, whatever, bro. That's the way we in right now. But nonetheless, man, let's finish things off with some awards and playoff prediction, man. Uh, so
Oh,
uh,
I want to hear who you got for this.
so as far as the Heisman, man, I think we kind of keep the quarterback thing going, man. I really think the player that's gonna win the Heisman this year. I'm thinking Cade Klubnik, man. I'm thinking Cade Klubnik is gonna give you a lot on the ground. But if I had to do a top three in the Heisman, I think it's gonna be um I think somehow, some way you're gonna get Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams in there, one way or another. I think they're gonna try to squeeze them in there somehow. So they're gonna be one of your three. And then I think the second person, I'm thinking Lenore Sellers from South Carolina. I think he's gonna get in there. And then Cade Klubnik will be my winner, but that third person. So I'm thinking two quarterbacks and a wide receiver.
So, who I think is going to win, you even have in yours, and they've made significant additions to the receiver position. I'm talking about Drew Aller. They go out and they get him weapons, not relying solely on Mr. Tyler Warren, who isn't there anymore. They get three areas of need. They're not all the same. You have a deep threat, you have an intermediate guy, you have a move the chains guy. Penn State is going to be really good running the ball, too. He can utilize the running back positions. They're going to be really good on defense. I got Drew Aller winning the Heisman, man. I think the fact that they can actually open things up on offense and they're not going to be so one-dimensional with him throwing the ball, I think you're going to be able to really see him sling it. Give me Drew Aller to win the Heisman.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that kind of doing what they were doing with Gino Toretta winning over Marshall Falk. You're the best player on the best team. So you gotta be the Heisman winner. Or, when Troy Smith won from Ohio State, and it's like, I don't know. Just the best player.
I think he's going to be good, man. We've seen him play really good in crunch time
I
last
think
year, but
I
they
think
didn't
so
have no
too.
weapons, though.
But I don't know how. I don't think it's gonna look like the best player
No,
because
I
they're
mean,
gonna
because they can
have
run the ball, too.
so yeah, because they're gonna have so many players that are responsible for them being so good
Yeah,
this year. I don't know, but
but
I
they
can
were able to
still
run the
see it
ball.
though.
But they were able to run the ball well last year, but he didn't have nobody to throw to. So now you've given them all those different avenues. I think their offense is going to be damn near unstoppable. Between the run game and him not being so because you seen Milroy last year, just Ryan Williams. Well, that's how Penn State's offense was when they weren't
Don't
running the ball.
remind me.
When they weren't running the ball, he was just hitting Tyler Warren. And not even in the second transfer portal, the different periods and all, they addressed all those needs at receiver. So I think their offense is going to be really good. Running the ball, yeah, but I think it's going to really help them throwing the ball too, because nobody's going to know what they expect.
Nah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I really am. I'm okay with Allard. Now that I think about it, but Andrew says they couldn't win big with Shador and Hunter. I was just thinking, I was like, man, they didn't have all of this stuff. They really upgraded their offensive line and they upgraded the defensive line, man. And since they're going back to running the ball, yeah, Colorado might be a little bit better this season. I mean, I'm not saying national championship good, but remember when Peyton Manning left Tennessee and then Tennessee won the title with T Martin at quarterback? Sometimes you don't need the big name to win a national title. And that's how I feel about the Colorado situation. I think they're gonna be a lot better without the distraction of Shador and Hunter. I think now we can get back to football and not just oh well, we got a lot of money, we got this, it's flash and dash, you know what I'm saying? I think now it's a little bit better, so but I do agree. I think Klubnik might be the best quarterback, man. I think he might be the best quarterback this year in terms of in terms of all around talent. So, but See that Smooth says, yeah, man. See, I do. I have a lot of stock in Allard too, man, because this is the best Penn State team they've had probably since LeVar Arrington was there. And that was like 99, 2000, something like that. So I would say that. I think they got everything you need. They got a good defense, and actually, if you had a list of top 10, probably about seven, maybe, well, not seven, but four of them would be Penn State defenders. That's how good they are on defense. And if you put a top 10 on offense, it's probably about six from Penn State. So this is a good team, you know. So, you know, I'm excited to see what they do. Um, but I don't want the distraction of the Heisman, man. I just want them to just win. I just want them to like win it all because, like, more so than I want, Alabama to win because I'm like, yo, I just want them to kind of officially erase all of that stuff that they went through.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that will be the best thing. Like,
Yeah, they
yo,
finally can make that step, man. This is the best chance. If you can't do it this year, you ain't doing it.
yeah, they say Colorado ain't win. I'm just saying, bro, don't be surprised. And then Clemson won, Penn State 2. Are we talking college football playoff 1, 2, or are we
I think he's
talking?
talking about ranking.
Or are you talking Heisman players 1, 2? I don't know. You gotta clarify that, man. But we get into. I think it's a Doak Walker that's next. I only picked a couple this time, but I do think the Doak Walker for people who are new to the show is for the best running back in college football. So I think I want to say the best running back in the country is going to be Ahmad Hardy from Mizzou. I think he's got everything. He's got speed, he's got elusiveness, everything. But I don't think Mizzou's going to be as good, which means that the winner is going to probably be on a better team. And
Mm-hmm.
that is probably going to be Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame. I think I would love to say that the duo between Penn State's Nick Singleton and Katron Allen, I think that because they're sharing duties, I think it might be, a little hard for one of them to walk away with some hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Ohio State last year with Judkins and Henderson, right? Like they both were like lights out good, but they were sharing carries. So it's like nobody could really take the next step. Now,
Mm-hmm.
we have seen years where you have that duo and one is just better than the other one. Reggie
Mm-hmm.
Bush, Lindell White. Because they don't make the championship without Lindell White, right? But Reggie Bush wins the Heisman, so it looks a little bit better, right? So I'm thinking Jeremiah Love, right? But Ahmad Hardy is gonna be the best running back this year, though. But like I said,
So,
uh,
damn. So for me, I wouldn't sleep on Isaac Brown out of Louisville. I think he's really good.
mm,
But I think the favorite is Jeremiah Love. I just think that he's just in the most favorable situation now that Riley Leonard's gone. I think
yeah,
he's going to be getting those touches.
yeah, they don't win no games without Jeremiah Love going off this year. Like they gonna be tough, right? But so who you got? Love?
I was going to go Love.
Okay. And then we got one more award that we're gonna talk about, man. This is one that I love. The the Chuck Bednarik Award for Best Defensive Player in College Football, man. Who you got?
Ooh, I'm more than likely going to go Rodriguez from Texas Tech. I think he's going to get this.
Okay. So for me, I was thinking Dylan Stewart from South Carolina.
Yeah.
Uh, but them losing Kennard in the draft is gonna like put a lot more eyes on him. So he's not gonna get off like he did last year, right? Because it's easier to do it when you got a good running mate on the other side. So I'm actually gonna go with I'm gonna go with Anthony Hill Jr.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I was gonna go with. From Texas, outside linebacker, middle linebacker. He does it all, man. I just think he's gonna have a lot more opportunities to get after the quarterback because they're gonna line him up kind of like how they did with Harold Perkins a couple years ago. Just disrupt the whole offense, Like they're gonna have to find you on the field before they snap the ball. That's how I think Anthony Hill's gonna be this season. So I'll be saying that. But I feel like if he doesn't win it due to his play, I think they're gonna be pushing Caleb Downs like to win, even though he might not be his best season. I
Mm-hmm.
think the media is gonna try to push him as the guy to like win it. But the person who probably gonna deserve it is gonna be Anthony Hill Jr. So that's just how it goes, man. I just kind of know how some of these awards go. Like, because Travis Hunter shouldn't have won this shit last year. I'm gonna be honest with you. He shouldn't have won this shit. It was way better defensive players than him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he shouldn't have won the receiver of the year because it was way better receivers than him last year, right? Now he was good as hell. We're not saying
Yeah,
he
but
wasn't.
I had at least 3 or 4 guys that I would have gave it to before.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's just my take on it, man. I just thought he wasn't the best corner, and he wasn't the best receiver, right? But playing both of them at the same time is pretty fucking cool. Okay. So, I think had he dedicated one or the other, I think he actually might have been the best corner or the best receiver. But he's doing both. So you can't commit most of your time to everything. So that's just how I feel. But I'm thinking Anthony Hill though.
You got what else you got on here?
I think we got
You got receiver or no?
no, I just went straight
Okay.
into the prediction.
Okay. Now is this your prediction?
Yeah, so this
Oh,
is
I
just
didn't even make a graphic.
oh no, I mean I literally just looked at the thumbnail like before I started downloading it. And I had seen that you wanted to do the awards at the end because I
Mhm.
thought we were saving it for episode by itself or as like a bridge to the NFL. Like let's just finish college and then go right to NFL. But I was like, all right, no, I just put something together. I just downloaded this like with 10 minutes left before the show. And I just put these logos on here. So this is not in order of the teams that I think is gonna be. It's just 12 teams, the conference winner, and then the 8 other teams after that. So for me, I'm thinking Texas wins the SEC. I'll be comfortable saying that. I think Penn State wins the Big Ten. I'll be comfortable saying that. I think Clemson wins the ACC. I'll be comfortable saying that. And I think, like I said, Big 10, Big 12 is Colorado. So I think that's your only member of the Big 12, in my opinion. I think that's it. So then we get outside of the 4, and I'm thinking Notre Dame sneaks in there. I think because, brand name, right? They might be lower to like 12 or 11, right? Because I think they sneak in because I don't think they're that good. But I do think the brand and them being kind of up there, I think that'll work. But I do think Illinois sneaks in there. I think Illinois sneaks in there. Um, but I think, like I said, they'll be like 11, 12, that range. But
Mhm.
I got to have Georgia in there because I think they'll lose the SEC title game. I think they'll lose it, and then they get in. And then Ohio State gets in there because I feel like they might lose to Penn State in the title game. So I think that's how they get in there. And then where you at? Miami. I think that's your loser of the ACC title game. So I'm thinking they're gonna be all right, and then they get in, but not just no first round bye. And then Alabama gets in there as like the third SEC team because I think they're going to be good, but not better than Texas or Georgia, in my opinion, right? And then if I'm going outside of that, and I think as we get into like the last part of it, I do think South Carolina wins enough to get in there over because I think at that point you're gonna have a lot of Big 12 teams in there. I think you're gonna have some Big 10 teams in there, but I think the resume is gonna speak for itself with South Carolina, and you got the fact that Lenora Sellers is probably gonna be one of the most popular players by the end of that season. You got to have him on national television. It's gonna sell a lot of viewers and stuff like that. And then as far as the group of five member, I'm thinking Boise State's gonna be back in it because even though they lost Genty, they kept a lot of talent. And I felt like the quarterback was kind of stunted in his development over the season because it's easy to just hand it to Genty the whole time. Now we got the whole offseason to really work with a lot of talent that we got coming back. And I think Boise State is going to be your group of five member. So,
Okay.
Buck with it. Buck out of here. What you thinking?
So
I know you're probably thinking about LSU not being in here.
Well,
I'm
gonna give a valid point why I think they should be. I think the SEC is the only conference that gets 4 teams in. I don't think any other conference gets 4 in. I'm cool with Georgia being in there.
Yep.
I'm definitely okay with Texas being in there. I had them winning it. I think South Carolina pushes through that threshold and they get in there. I think LSU's got a better roster than Alabama, top to bottom. I think they did better in the offseason. I think they have the fact that you got your quarterback that's 3 years into the system. I think LSU just got better depth. I think they get the edge. I think DeBoer comes up close again, but they might have some BS with the polls or whatever they had like last year. I think LSU it's make or break. Like if Alabama missed the playoffs this year, I think DeBoer still have a job if he's in the hunt. If LSU doesn't make the playoffs this year, you have a very, very uncomfortable conversation. And I just think with the additions they made, I think they get that spot.
What?
But that's not the main focal point I want to make, though. The Big Ten does get 3 in. Illinois is not getting in over Oregon. I think Oregon's got a better roster. I think Illinois is a scrappier team. I think they're more physical. And I think they can creep up on anybody. I think they can beat anyone in the conference. But I just don't – they can put 4 teams in, man, but it's – I just don't see it happening. So Ohio State, Penn State, and I'd swap Illinois out for Oregon. I just like what Oregon's got. Now, the only question mark
I forgot, man.
The only question mark with me is I want to see how Dante Moore is going to command the offense. If he plays with confidence, Oregon's in there easily. Notre Dame, I feel like is going to be back. I wouldn't have Colorado. I'd have Arizona State back in it because they win the conference. Clemson's a shoe-in. I think they win the conference. I'm okay with putting Miami in there. I think if Carson Beck is more boom than bust, they're in there. And to be honest with you, I'm okay with Boise State as the group of 5. I think they overall still have a really good team. I'm comfortable with that.
Okay. No, man. Like I said, I was just playing around. I was like, man, dang, I forgot about the college football playoff stuff. I gotta add this on here. So, but nonetheless, once we get into, I'm gonna save this template right here, and then once we get into like the college football's playoff season, we'll start to I'll put this back up, and then we can really do our like 12 we think should be in there, right?
Who do you see winning?
I think we should do it like every ranking. We should rank our 12. Like every time they release it, we should do our 12 that we think should be in there. So I think that'll be real cool. I'm glad I found this template, though. I'm glad I found this template, man, because I was like, yo, this is fire. And I got all the logos saved like in folders. So I like whatever, like, hey, you need the Notre Dame graphic, I got it.
Who do you have in the game itself?
The championship game. You know, I want something new. So I want something that we ain't never really had, man. So I want an old helmet game, man. I want Penn State against South Carolina. I want something like that. I want a new I want Penn State to win. That's my team that I want to win it all, right? But if I had to pick like an adversary, I pick somebody that people gonna hate. So either South Carolina or Miami.
Okay.
Yeah, I want something nasty. Like every story needs a villain, right? So if Miami gets in there, and of course they gonna bring up the Orange Bowl like in the '80s when they gonna have a bunch of history between Penn State and and Miami. So I really want to see that.
Okay.
Now,
So from
of
oh,
course, in another universe, I want Alabama to win. Just so we can stick it to everybody else and say, "Ha! You thought it was over."
so for me, I think it's gonna be battle of the top prospect quarterbacks. I've got Clemson and Penn State. I think Klubnik versus Aller will be a really cool matchup. I think they probably got two of the
that
most.
would be good too.
I think they've got two of the most complete rosters. I think they match up really good against each other. I think it will be a duel, but I'm gonna give Penn State the edge, man. I just think they have the best roster in college football. I've got Penn State winning it.
Damn, so that means back-to-back years that the Big Ten wins national
That
titles.
would be
Yeah.
3 years in a row.
See that Smooth? You gotta go there. You gotta go there. Now,
Hey,
so
CS Move, what team was he supposed to go to, and what round was it in again?
the first round to the Steelers. That would have
I
been
wanted
my
to
pick.
see him say it.
First round to the Steelers, man.
But
Like I said, I just felt like, man, look, we didn't know that they were gonna get Aaron Rodgers, right? So I'm like, shit, if you're not gonna get Shador Sanders, man, shit, at least fucking get somebody that's gonna put some butts in the seats, man. At least a little bit, you know.
he remembered that.
Yeah, I remember too. Like, I mean, but he still ended up going a lot higher than I think people thought he was gonna go. Because I felt like Will Howard might have went ahead of him because he just won a national title and he looked pretty good doing it. So I was like, man, that last few games of the season with losses to Tennessee, the bowl game, I just thought it was like that hurt his draft stock so much. But he got a lot more of his draft stock back when he ran that 4.3. Like, oh, like he's real fast. Like not just fast. He real fast. So it's like, yo, if we could use that somehow and like I don't know. I just felt like if anybody in the first round was gonna do it, it would have been the Steelers. Because that's the only spot that made sense. Like you're not gonna draft a first round guy to sit there. But you also have a history of drafting quarterbacks that have different skill sets. Cordell Stewart, for one reason, right? So you got a different system in place. So I'm like, that's the only one that makes sense. I wouldn't see him go to the Browns because they just gonna kill him, right? And we don't need to see that, right? Just shoot, everybody else is hurt. Go out there and win, Milrow. Like, come on, man. Like, don't do that to the dude. Y'all already did that with Manziel. Now, Manziel had a lot of problems off the field, but damn, you have Hoyer that had won like 6-7 games all season that year. Why would you just throw Manziel in there like that? No way. That was disrespectful. Don't do that. And that's why the Browns or the Browns. And I'm glad he didn't go there. But anyway, man, but that's it. We got everything that we wanted to talk about today, man. So this brings an end to our college football preseason breakdown. The next episode, we will start with the NFL, man. So all of our NFL lovers, we're gonna have some fun with that. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. A lot of teams made moves. Some people didn't do nothing. And it's going to show because they're going to be at the bottom of the list. Right? So that's all right, man. I rock with my Ravens. Brandon rock with the Patriots more than the Saints, right? So, so if I had to pick a second team,
the Rams.
I like the Birds, man. I like the Bird team. So it'll probably be the Eagles. That would be my second team. Not because they just won.
Bandwagon.
Nah, man, I can't even say it's a bandwagon, man.
I'm
'Cause
not
I've
saying
always,
that's what somebody else is gonna say.
yeah, I know they'll probably be like, he's a bandwagon guy. I'm like, nah, man. Like when it comes to the bird teams, man, I fucks with all of them. The Ravens, the Seahawks, the Eagles, the Falcons, all of them. Like the bird teams, I really fuck with. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I've always liked the bird teams because they always usually have the tightest logos, man. Like the Eagles always had a tight logo. The Ravens has always been cold. The Seahawks back in the day, theirs was cold as fuck. And then what's the other one? The Falcons.
Falcons.
They always had a tough logo. So that's always I like, man. So call me a bandwagon fan all you want to. I'm the bird man. Huh? But before we get up out of here, man, you got anything to say to the people?
Yeah, not Young Money affiliated for one.
Oh man.
But
Huh?
you was talking about I don't look. I picked Penn State, but the SEC realistically needs to win one this year because if we don't and they win it again, like there will not be any more them taking the conversation of us being the best, and we are. So it needs to happen. Whether it's one of our teams or if someone else does it, doesn't matter as long as it's not Vanderbilt, which is not going to happen, Chris. I'm sorry, but because Alabama's gonna smash y'all like a sledgehammer with some ants. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
hope so. Yeah.
I think Penn State wins. I really hope the SEC can have a ploy at it, man. At least make the title game. At least make the title game. I would love to see both of our teams make it again. That would be fun. And for the NFL, we're gonna jump to the NFC next week, so that's gonna be really cool. So for you guys who haven't been here before, we've done it differently over the last couple of years. Like years ago, we did it like division by division, but we're probably just gonna dedicate an entire episode to just straight top to bottom and then go from there. Because you still have to break down both conferences. You got to do the playoffs and then awards, Super Bowl, all that good stuff. That'll probably be a separate thing in itself because
Yeah.
we still have the whole month of July. So you could get 3 episodes out of that. It'd be good. It'll be fun. And it'd be a lot less research having to do as well. Because the FBS football level is like 130 plus teams. And who's got time for all that?
Yeah. That's why we cut our group of 5 episodes short.
Yeah, we wanted to do it, but it was too
like,
much.
Nah, I'm like, nah.
But I will say, if you guys do like weekly shows, there might be some really cool interviews coming up. Some really cool stuff, and that can open the door to a lot of other really cool stuff happening. But the only way we can get that word out there is if you guys subscribe, liking the video so this video can get out there, people know about it, and then we can start making those moves, man. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe, like the video because it really helps with the algorithm. And check out the rest of the platforms at the bottom, man. Game streaming, pack openings, freaking weekly shows, daily shorts. If you need it, we got it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got it, man. We got it all. So y'all gonna have a lot of content to watch, man. Like I said, we excited, man. This is a good time of year for us. Because football season's picking up, man. So we excited. But we will see y'all next Sunday, same time, same place, NFL content. Get ready. Rock and roll.
Peace.
Out of here. Peace.